The NCAA salutes its nearly 500,000 student athletes participating in 24 sports. We cheer for them in the game and in the classroom. The NCAA sponsors 90 national championships in 24 sports across 3 divisions each year. For more information or to find a championship near you, visit ncaa.com. NCAA Teams Works is a community-based program driven by the NCAA. Member schools, student athletes, and corporate champions and partners who actively engage in outreach efforts where national championships are played, providing disaster relief efforts, youth clinics, and education support. The NCAA and its partners work together to leave a lasting legacy in each community we visit. For more information, visit ncaa.com/teamworks. The State University of New York Athletic Conference and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and fans. We request your cooperation in supporting the student athletes and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, or other intimidating actions directed at the athletes, officials, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. The State University of New York Athletic Conference has many traditions, but bad sportsmanship isn't one of them. We appreciate your cooperation in creating a safe and positive game environment. Respect. It's the name of the game. The NCAA thanks our corporate champions, AT&T, Capital One, and Coca-Cola, and our corporate partners, Allstate, Amazon Echo, Buffalo Wild Wings, Buick, Dove Men's Care Plus, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Infinity, Intel, Marriott, Lowe's, LG, Nabisco, Northwestern Mutual, Pizza Hut, Reese's, and Wendy's. Their support enhances NCAA championships and the educational and athletic experiences of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2017 NCAA Division III New York Baseball Regional Championship at Onondaga Community College in Syracuse, New York, hosted by the State University of New York Athletic Conference. Today's first game features the top-seeded Oswego Lakers and the second-seeded Southern Maine Huskies. As a reminder to all spectators, please be alert at all times during today's game. Baseballs can accidentally fly into the seating areas. Be alert to the action. The NCAA and the State University of New York Athletic Conference want everyone to have a safe and enjoyable day watching the best baseball in the nation. Thank you. And now, baseball fans, let's meet the teams. Here is the starting lineup for the designated visiting team for this morning's game, the Southern Maine Huskies. Batting first and playing right field, a sophomore from Elliott, Maine, number 7, Zach Quintal. Batting second, playing third base, a senior from Walpole, Massachusetts, number 17, Matt Bender. Batting third and playing shortstop, a freshman from Danvers, Massachusetts, number 6, Andrew Olzak. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, a freshman from Winslow, Maine, number 18, Dylan Hackworth. Batting fifth and playing catcher, a sophomore from Kennebunk, Maine, number 31, Kip Richard. Batting sixth and playing first base, a sophomore from Bangor, Maine, number 12, Andrew Hillier. Batting seventh and playing left field, a senior from Wells, Maine, number 3, Paul McDonough. Batting eighth and playing second base, a sophomore from Oakland, Maine, number 13, Jack Dexter. And batting ninth and playing center field, a sophomore from Smithfield, Maine, number 2, Devin Warren. The starting pitcher for the Huskies is a sophomore from South Portland, Maine, number 34, Henry Curran. The head coach of the Huskies is Ed Flaherty. He is assisted by Ed Boyce, Vinny DeGimico, Rod Chirosi, and Tim Downing. And now, here is the starting lineup for the designated home team for this morning's game, the Oswego Lakers. Batting first and playing center field, a senior from Syracuse, New York, number 18, Wes Randall. Batting second and playing third base, a senior from Liverpool, New York, number 3, Eric Hamilton. Batting third, the designated hitter, a sophomore from Commerce, New York, number 15, Mike Bellicari. Batting fourth, the right fielder, a junior from Greenwich, New York, number 20, John Barnes. Batting fifth and playing second base, a senior from Edwell, New York, number 13, Zach Kolar. Batting sixth and playing left field, a junior from Hancock, New York, number 24, Eli Holton. Batting seventh and playing first base, a junior from Hopewick, New York, number 11, Kyle Digits. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, a junior from Portland, New York, number 1, Zach Whalen. And batting ninth and playing catcher, a senior from Gardner, New York, number 21, Alex Brown. Starting pitcher for the Lakers is a junior from Oneida, New York, number 32, Mitchell Cavanaugh. The head coach of the Lakers is Scott Landers. He is assisted by Jason Heindorf, Kyle Brown, Tyler Baker, and Chris Haynes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who support our freedom at home and abroad with the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, the umpires for today's games are at first base, Mike Lum. At second base, David Gabor. At third base, the crew chief, Matt McMahon. And behind home plate, Justin Sims.
Well, good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome to Syracuse, New York, Onondaga Community College for Game 7 of the 2017 NCAA Division III New York Regional. Today, in our first game, it is the winners bracket contest. Two teams that are both 2-0 so far in this regional. It's the top-seeded Lakers out of Oswego State and the second-seeded Huskies of Southern Maine. Southern Maine got to today's 2-0 winners bracket game with a 10-1 win over the College of New Jersey in a 2-3 matchup yesterday. Meanwhile, the Lakers, the top seed, have now twice played one-run games and each time come out in front. Ira Thor, Brett Ford with you live here in Syracuse. 56 degrees, sunny skies, beautiful morning for baseball, Brett. Two teams that are here with really different resumes as to how they've reached this point.
Yeah, well, Oswego had to bring out the bats in Game 1. For an 11-10 walk-off victory over Ithaca. And then yesterday had an outstanding pitching performance by their number 2, Donnelly. So they've won a couple different ways, and both times they've found a way to get here. Southern Maine kind of just had to persevere through a 3-hour rain delay against Castleton with a 5-3 victory. And then yesterday, kind of the first blowout of our regional when they put up a 7-run inning against TCNJ to win 10-1. So two teams who have kind of taken slightly different paths to get here, but two quality teams nonetheless. Excited to see them play today.
Now let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. First for Southern Maine. They are the designated visiting team, and the winner of this game will advance to the first game on Sunday, which is the first potential championship game. The loser will play tonight at approximately 6 p.m. against the surviving team, Ithaca or TCNJ, in our next game. And then there'll be likely just two teams left as we head to Sunday for the championship day. For Southern Maine, leading off and playing right field is Zach Quintal. Batting second at third base is Matt Bender. The shortstop and batting third, Andrew Olzak. The cleanup hitter and DH, Dylan Hapworth. Catching and batting fifth is Kip Richard. The first baseman batting sixth is Andrew Hillier. The left fielder is Paul McDonough batting seventh. Jake Dexter, the second baseman, hits eighth. And Devin Warren, the center field, bats ninth. Meanwhile, Oswego State sends first-team all-conference right-handed pitcher Mitchell Cavanaugh to the mound with an 8-0 record, a 2.31 ERA. He will throw today to Alex Brown behind the plate. Kyle Dinges back at first. Zach Kolar at second. Zach Whalen at short, and Eric Hamilton, the conference player of the year, at third. And immediately, a ground ball booted at shortstop by Whalen, who could not handle the ground ball from Quintal. One pitch and an error immediately on the board. Let's finish off the lineup. In the outfield, it's Eli Holton in left, Wes Randall in center, John Barnes in right.
Well, that's Whalen's fifth error of the season. Comes at an untimely opportunity there as we lead off the game. Not exactly a good note for the Lakers here as they get started behind Cavanaugh.
Matt Bender hitting .352 on the year. An early break for the Huskies. Your keys to victory for Southern Maine today, Brett.
Well, Southern Maine has been hot from the plate. They have 14 hits in each of their regional games here. So if they can maintain their approach at the plate, they really haven't been hitting for power. It's been mostly singles and a double here or there. But they really just single you to death. It's kind of a death by singles kind of offense. 14 hits a game, so their offense needs to remain consistent. And then on the defensive end, they have not made an error in either of these games. So they've backed up their pitchers with stellar defense, and especially the left side of the infield with Olzak and Bender made some great plays yesterday, and they'll need to continue that if they want to beat this tough Oswego team.
I think we need to make this into a permanent hashtag, death by singles. We'll see if that can catch fire and take off. This game, certainly one that you may have projected because it's the 1 and 2 seed. The seedings have held up. Ithaca, the 6th seed, will play the 3rd seed TCNJ in our next game, and this is lined towards right center, going to fall in for a base hit. Quintal around second. He's held up at third. It's a single, death by single, as Brett would say. Bender dropping it in the gap. And now, with nobody out here in the top of the 1st inning, runners on the corners for the shortstop, Olzak.
Olzak went 4 for 5 in their first game against Castleton here in the regional. 2 for 4 against TCNJ yesterday, so 6 hits in 2 games for the shortstop. See if he can stay hot from the plate, Ira.
He's certainly been one of the most outstanding players of this field. There's been several pitchers who also can be put on that pedestal because with the exception of the 10-1 game and, of course, the 11-10 Oswego-Ithaca real battle that they had in the first game of this regional, all the others were tight pitchers' duels.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of great pitching performances, including Tyler Levitt from the Southern Maine team yesterday, and Donnelly for the Lakers. He was outstanding. Complete game shutout to eliminate Tufts yesterday's afternoon game.
Swung on and missed. A ball and a strike. This is a big test for Southern Maine because they are facing a first-team all-conference pitcher in Mitchell Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh, along with Cronin, been the 2 arms at the front of this lineup all year, the front of this rotation. However, yesterday, Donnelly was just magnificent. The 1-1, and that's fouled back towards our right.
First and third here, I wouldn't be shocked to see Bender try to take second. We saw Southern Maine work out a kind of a corner steal play yesterday. Didn't work out against TCNJ, but Bender has 8 stolen bases on 10 attempts. Wouldn't be shocked to see him go and try to get Quintal, an aggressive runner, home from third base.
We talked about in game 1 of the series of this regional that Tim Cronin had won his first 9 starts of the year, 9 for 9 before a no decision in game 1. Well, Kavanaugh, as that is fouled over our heads, and that's going to carry him back on the play. Kavanaugh has had a lot of success as well. 9 starts coming in, 8-0. So 1 no decision. Otherwise, he has been the winner in all other appearances. He has 1 complete game, and in 58 and third innings, he has struck out 50, walked 21, a meager 204 opposing batting average.
The one stat that pops off this page is Kavanaugh has 13 wild pitches this season, so he's had some trouble reeling it in as far as control. He's also hit 5 batters. So
the 13 wild pitches really stands out, though. That is a high number, especially for a first-team all-conference pitcher. But
with this kind of deep backstop, there's at least 10 to 15 yards behind the plate, and we've seen wild pitches come into effect here so far this regional, where teams have manufactured runs by getting extra bases and plating some runs where they wouldn't have come in otherwise.
Oh, it's been a big problem for TCNJ, most notably. Even Castleton, Michael yesterday, having a lot of trouble.
A 2-2 count here to Olzak. Expect an off-speed pitch here.
The 2-2. And that's hit in the air to deep left center field, carrying. But it is caught in left. Should result in a sacrifice fly. And it does as the leadoff error comes back to hurt the Lakers. Eli Holton makes the catch in left center. Quintal touching the plate. It is 1-0. Southern Maine. So credit Olzak with a sac fly and an RBI and unearned run. And now with just 1 away, it'll bring up the DH Hatworth.
Pretty neutral weather conditions today. No wind as the flag out in right field is completely stagnant. Relatively nice day for baseball. 60-degree weather. I'm sure this Southern Maine and Oswego team, both from the Northeast here, are thrilled with this kind of weather. This is tropical for both of these teams who usually play their early seasons, if they can get on the field, in sub-zero temperatures.
This is summertime weather, and we had desert weather on Thursday before the rains came when it was in the 90s with bright sunshine, and then yesterday, polar opposite, 40 degrees less. We're talking about 51, 52 degrees for much of the day with wind. It felt like it was in the 40s. It was overcast, a threat of rain. It never did rain, but there was a threat of it the entire day. This is just perfect baseball weather. It's going to get up to 65 degrees probably by the end of this contest, and it's a great day to be calling a game and watching a game as well, and the Oswego fans have come out in droves from nearby. That's fouled off the catcher.
Yeah, this is way better than Saturday morning cartoons. I would definitely trade cartoons for baseball any day.
Is that what you typically do on a Saturday morning?
Well, yeah. And
you know it's going to change when you get married in 3 weeks, my friend.
Yeah, this is true, yes.
You're doing chores. You're going to go do some
Saturday
shopping.
morning HGTV.
Nah. You guys are going grocery shopping. It's got to go to the deli counter. You got to get roast beef for the week. Don't forget the rye bread. 1 ball and 1 strike. You're having deals that's high. And, we still are waiting for some blueberries to be delivered to the box. The Oswego State trainer was watching the game yesterday. We were talking about New Egypt, New Jersey, where one of the TCNJ players was from, and where I go picking blueberries with my children. And they're just absolutely delicious. And Oswego wanted us to try the delicious blueberries from upstate New York. We're waiting for a bowl to be delivered to the booth.
I'll tell you, Maine isn't bad for blueberries either. I'd take some from the Southern Maine staff if they were to deliver them as well.
Basically, Brett and I are saying that we love fresh produce, except for the salad that nobody touched yesterday, and I don't understand why.
I think it comes down to, in this business, you got to eat quickly, and no time for appetizers up here in the booth, Ira. We went straight for those chicken riggies, dug in. You should have seen us shoveling them in during the breaks last night, trying to empty our mouths before we got back on.
Straight in our pie hole. 3-1. That is thrown over to first, keeping an eye on Bender over there. My God, those chicken riggies were gone in the blink of an eye. Yeah, I'm happy I even got a chance for seconds. I had to sneak out in between pitches to do so.
Yeah, they were tasty. A Utica Rome classic chicken rigatoni. It's a rigatoni with chicken in it, obviously. With some spicy. It's like a spicy tomato-based, a little bit of cream sauce. It's.
I thought there was a little pesto in there.
It could have been. It's definitely a red pepper flake sauce with maybe a little bit of garlic and pesto, but definitely tasty. I would have it again.
Almost also like a tinge of pink vodka. Looked like
vodka sauce.
Yeah. Well, not the actual vodka. I mean, that would make calling a game a lot more interesting. The 3-2. Swung on and missed. Throw down to second base. He will steal, Bender will, and they will not get the strike him out, throw him out, but they do get the second out of the inning as Hapworth goes down after a battle. Now with 2 outs, we'll see the catcher Richard step to the plate hitting .306.
Well, Bender there with his 9th stolen base of the year. Only been caught 2 times. Pretty speedy on the base paths. Unfortunately for Hapworth, he goes down swinging. Although his swing did cover his runner, made it a little bit more difficult for the Oswego catcher Brown to throw down to second.
Richard with a chance to potentially drive in a second run against a pitcher that only has a 2.31 ERA on the year. Of course, that first run is unearned regardless. And he drives this to center. It's going to hold up in time as the center fielder, Wes Randall, comes in to make the catch, and the frame comes to a close. So Richard flies out, and just 1 run on 1 hit. It was unearned on a leadoff error. And the Huskies strand 1. Let's take a look at the starting lineup offensively today for the home team on the scoreboard and the top seed in the regional. That is the Oswego State Lakers. Leading off is Wes Randall, the center fielder. Eric Hamilton, his average has now fallen to .396. He has struggled in this regional, still looking to break through. He was hitting a roughly .450 when this regional started, the SUNYAC 2-time player of the year. Mike Delicari, the designated hitter in a first-team all-conference selection, along with John Barnes, the cleanup hitter and right fielder, are the 3 and 4 hitters. Meanwhile, Zach Kolar, the second baseman, bats 5th. Eli Holton in left field hits 6th. Kyle Dinges back in the lineup. He's the first baseman, batting 7th. Zach Whalen, who had the error in the top of the first inning, he'll bat 8th and play short. And catching is Alex Brown, batting 9th. Meanwhile, for Southern Maine, the Huskies, as you said, have not committed an error in this regional in the first 2 games. And today they will try to back up pitcher Henry Curran. Curran, a left-hander, a sophomore, 3-1 with a 4.39 ERA. As the Huskies threw their top 2 pitchers in game 1 and 2, and we'll see if Curran has what it takes to push Southern Maine into the championship of this regional on Sunday. Curran will throw to Kip Richard behind the plate. That is your battery for the Huskies. Andrew Hilliard's at first base. Jake Dexter, all-conference player, at 2 positions. He is at second. Andrew Olzak's the shortstop. Matt Bender, he's the third baseman. Meanwhile, Paul McDonough is in left. Darren Warner, the center fielder. And Zach Quintal, who has scored the first run of this game, he's in right field. Keys of the game for the Huskies.
Well, the Huskies, or rather
for the Lakers, I should say.
The Lakers, they need to wake up the bats. Yesterday they were held to just 4 hits, 1 earned run on 4 hits. And like you said, Player of the Year, or Shuniak Player of the Year, Eric Hamilton has gone hitless so far. Now, if you were to tell the Lakers your star player is going to go hitless, but you're going to be 2-0 playing for a championship berth, I think they'd take it. But imagine how good they could have been these past 2 days if Hamilton had started to hit the ball.
Games would likely not be 1-run contests. The fact that they've gotten to this point and Hamilton has not produced, I think would surprise a lot of people. He's been so good for so long, a 4-time first-team all-conference player. Sometimes, and it happens in baseball, you go into a little bit of a slump, especially when you're facing top-notch pitching. And unfortunately for Hamilton, it has happened on a big stage.
Well, usually this team goes as he goes. However,
this
ball hit Randall on the elbow. He's been told he's going to stay put.
Randall was hit by the pitch, but it did look like he kind of leaned in just a bit, and that was enough for our home plate umpire in this contest, Justin Sims, to say, nope, you're staying put.
Well, now Flaherty comes out of the Southern Maine dugout, has a conversation with Sims.
The rest of the crew in this contest, Mike Lum is the umpire at first, David Gabor at second, and the crew chief, Matt McMahon, is at third. And the way this is set up, McMahon will be the home plate umpire for the championship game, as it should be. That's a foul tip. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Oh, Randall, the hero in Oswego's game 1 with the walk-off single.
Swung on and missed. And Randall goes down on strikes. A power pitch there by Curran. He just unloaded. He went as far back as you can and just fired that past a very good leadoff hitter in Randall. So now we'll see how he approaches Hamilton. Again, hitting .396. Hamilton, ground ball towards second base. Dexter, as Hamilton, again, I think it's the 3rd time in the last 2 games, he has chased the first pitch.
Yeah, he looks a little bit anxious in the box, trying to maybe press to make something happen. I know he's probably feeling the slump a little bit. And I think he just needs to be a little bit more patient at the plate and try to wait for his pitch and trying to stop forcing the action, just kind of let the game come to him.
That is a called strike to Delicardi, the designated hitter, hitting .347. Mike Delicardi, a first-team all-conference pick.
It's almost if Hamilton had already decided before he got in the box that he was going to swing at the first thing he saw. And it's kind of like in basketball when you decide before the play happens what you're going to do instead of trying to read and react. Always more successful when you read and react as opposed to just trying to force the action. So hopefully Hamilton will get it going here as he gets his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at-bats in this game.
Do want to see what he's capable of doing. That's a line drive off the pitcher's glove as he reached out, and that was the only hope for Southern Maine to try to keep that out of the outfield. Curran reaching up, and it was off the very tip of the glove.
A smart play by Curran to reach up. You see a lot of times these pitchers will reach up with their bare pitching hands. That results in injury more often than not. He reached up across his body with the glove trying to backhand it. Now, if he was a right-handed pitcher, he might have reached it with his left arm, with the glove on his left hand. But obviously as a lefty, had to reach all the way across his body. Probably lost an inch on the reach there.
Oh, you talked about reaction. Sometimes pitchers will just stick out their hand as a reaction. At least he did get the glove, as you said. And what it did is it almost gave his shortstop, Andrew Olzak, a chance to track that down. Instead, just a single up the middle. And John Barnes, the right fielder, the second-team all-conference selection. Oswego had 5 all-conference picks this year. Kavanaugh and Cronin, both first-team head pitchers. Hamilton and Delacarty, both first-team as position players. Barnes, second-team in right field. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. That's high.
Well, it looks like Curran's doing a really good job of holding the runner here. Left-handed pitcher, so it makes it easier for him to hold at first base. But he really holds that leg kick straight up and kind of gets the runner off balance at first base. Really high leg kick as Delacarty takes off here.
Delacarty got a fantastic jump. Curran was already going towards the plate.
As soon as I talk about how well Curran's holding the runner on, Delacarty gets a great read off of him, takes second base without a throw.
That is his 6th stolen base of the year in 8 tries. Popped in the air. So now it's carrying to deep center field. How far is that going to go? It's a 2-run home run for Delacarty and Oswego. For Barnes, I should say, and Delacarty crosses the plate for Barnes, and that gives the Lakers a 2-1 lead. They come all the way back after the error in the first inning allowed the Huskies to take the lead. John Barnes, that ball off the bat, we saw a number of balls in this series kind of just die, but the wind is tranquil today. And on a day like this, if you can get a hang of one, and that is what Barnes did there, and he carries it over the straightaway center field fence, probably about 5 feet to the right of the 400-foot sign, Brett. And for John Barnes, a 2-run homer, Delacarty scoring, and that makes it a 2-1 lead for the top-seeded Lakers.
Well, for Barnes, that's his 4th and 5th RBIs of the series here, or of the regional, rather. He had 2 RBIs in Oswego's 11-10 victory over Ithaca, and had the only RBI in the 1-0 victory over Tufts on an 8th-inning single. So the 4-stick really coming in, picking up his teammates here and driving in runs when he has the opportunity.
And that's all with 2 outs after a strikeout and a ground out. Again, Delacarty with the single, then Barnes with a 2-run shot. And Oswego immediately bouncing back after giving up the unearned run in the top half of this inning.
And that ball was driven to the deepest part of the ballpark. I mean, dead center field, that ball is probably like 410, 415 at least. That's out of most major league ballparks for sure.
Yeah, if you just saw the reaction there from the center fielder, Warren, he looked up, and that's when we knew it was not a normal, typical fly ball. That one was going to have some pop on it, and it just kept carrying. And this is a pop-up behind home plate, patiently making the catch is Richard, and the inning comes to a close, but not before Oswego gets the lead on a 2-run home run by Barnes. They came into the frame down 1-0. They leave, heading to the second, up 1.
Leading off the second inning for Southern Maine, the first baseman, number 12, Andrew Hillier.
I don't either.
We're back here in the second inning, a 2-1 lead for Oswego State on the power of the 4th home run this year for Barnes.
Yeah, Barnes really got a hold of that. Drove it to dead center, 415. Like I said, that would have been out of most major league ballparks. The only one that maybe he might not have hit it out of is Minute Maid Park down in Houston, where they removed the hill there in center field, shortened up the fence a little bit. So,
also Miami. Miami's pretty deep. You got a nice little fish tank out there.
Well, it probably depend in Miami if the roof was open or not. If the roof's open and you got the heat coming in and the humidity down there, it allows the ball to carry a lot further. But if the roof's closed, humidity's down, ball doesn't carry so much. Plays way more like a pitcher's park with the roof closed.
I've been down there where they had it closed for, the first 8 innings or so, and then they opened it up at the end.
Yeah, it's kind of strange they do that. Speaking of Miami, I do see one Miami Marlins T-shirt jersey in the crowd.
That's very random.
Kind of random, but baseball fans will be baseball fans.
Hillier swings and misses. It'll be Hillier, McDonough, Dexter due up here for the Huskies in the top of the second inning as they trail for, I think, only the second time they trailed 1-0, I believe, to Castleton. I think it was 1-0. I have to go back and take a look at the box score from that game. But other than that, they were up 7-0 so quick on TCNJ that game was over in the third inning. Then they put up a 3 spot in the 6th inning before TCNJ scored late to avoid the shutout here in the postseason.
Yeah, this Southern Maine team trailed by 1 run at 2 different points in the Castleton game, allowing Castleton to score 1 run in the top of the first, but then responding with a run in the bottom to tie the game. Castleton did the same thing in the 5th, scoring a run.
That was right after the rain delay.
That's right. And then Southern Maine came back and tied it again. And then, of course, they took a 4-2 lead and ended up winning the game 5-3.
Yeah, when Castleton was at the plate as Hillier swings and misses, he goes down on strikes. There was a runner on first base when the sky opened up. And then 3 hours later, they were able to go up 2-1. That was a 2-run, I believe, 7th inning in that game that allowed Southern Maine to pull away. And then yesterday, they were just the better team from really the 3rd inning on. So with 1 out, it'll bring up the left fielder McDonough, hitting now .265 on the year. Kavanaugh, after that error and single, has really settled down, retired the next 4, including a pair of strikeouts on the year. Like we said, he has been that number 2 horse behind Cronin and has a pretty darn good resume himself. This is a ground ball up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. So that's the second hit for the Huskies.
That's McDonough's first hit of this tournament, 0 for 3 against Castleton and 0 for again against TCNJ yesterday, one of the only Huskies without a base hit. So good to see him get the bat going and get on base here.
Jake Dexter, sophomore second baseman, first team all-conference in the Little East as a second baseman, first team all-conference in the Little East as a relief pitcher.
Well, we saw why against Castleton. He came in and fired some bullets, 3 innings, no hits, 5 strikeouts, minimum 9 batters faced. He was fantastic from the mound in relief.
Popped in the air to right field, easy play for the right fielder, and the home run hitting John Barnes. So Dexter flies out, 2 away, and it brings up the center fielder Warren, who watched that home run by Barnes sail over the 400-foot sign.
Yeah, Warren put a good effort in trying to chase that down. He just ran out of real estate, kind of collided with the fence, and was staggered after that. I thought he had a chance at that ball if he maybe would have had about 5 more feet. It didn't clear the fence by much, but Warren, heck of an effort out in center field.
That's a close play at first. McDonough dives in safely. I think, and just watching so many outfielders over the years try to leap to try to pull balls back in, he would have needed more of a running start to really get that vertical. He just didn't have enough time, I think, and enough space
Well, it's a neutral site field. I'm sure he's not exactly familiar with the dimensions and the location of the fence and the angle of the fence. So trying to make that play, especially at a neutral site, is extremely difficult. And but like I said, heck of an effort.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think as a home game, perhaps he gets there. Just because, like you said, you know the dimensions better, you can time your leap better. Here it's a lot of reaction.
Yeah, and another factor, I don't think that warning track out there is a change of texture at all. I think it's just a change of colored turf.
Good
so
point.
He probably, under his feet, you can't tell the difference between the green turf and the brown turf, so it's a lot harder to locate the wall with this type of warning track as opposed to an actual clay warning track on most facilities.
And there you don't even have to look down. You can just feel the different surface, and you know it's time to jump. One thing you have to look out for, obviously, in that situation is the wall.
Right.
You know,
well, he found it. He found it hard.
Now, this is not a padded fence like there are in many places. It has almost like a windscreen on it, and that is your protection. So does not have the give you would have, but otherwise such a beautiful facility. 2 balls and no strikes. That's fouled off to our right as McDonough took off.
That looked like a hit and run attempt there by Southern Maine. We've seen them pull off similar. As that ball hit directly off the light pole and bounce back into play. What are the odds of that?
If it's my golf shot, that would be a tree, and it would hit the top and kick right back into the fairway.
Oh, is that how that works?
That's how I get my greens in regulation.
Yeah, usually when I golf, I hit it. It looks straight, and then just tails way right. I have a late slice on my ball, and actually went golfing for the first time this season a couple weeks ago and was very proud of myself. Shot a 105, so that's like triple bogey golf, which is pretty good for me.
Found someone I can beat. The throw down to second base, diving in safely. That throw was wide of the bag. McDonough with the steal. So with 2 outs, the Huskies have a runner in scoring position. I am the luckiest player ever. I'm better than I used to be because I took some lessons, but I get more breaks out there than I deserve.
Well, speaking of breaks, the Southern Maine Huskies might have caught a break here. As this isn't Olsen. Olsen we saw throw out 2 runners yesterday for the Lakers. This is Brown, their starting catcher today.
Swung on and missed.
As that throw was to the left of the bag, on the wrong side of the bag to make the tag. Olsen threw a couple of darts yesterday, threw out a couple runners by a large margin. So we may see him as a defensive replacement. We may see Brown. Not sure if they'll be splitting time today or if they'll just keep Brown in.
Well, if Oswego does not win this game, they will play tonight at 6. Whoever loses this contest plays a second game today. Ground ball toward the right side. Will be a flip here as Kavanaugh touches the bag off the flip from the first baseman, Kyle Dinges, and a runner is stranded at second base on the 3-1 ground out. Second inning for Southern Maine. No runs, a hit, 1 left on base. Still 2-1. Oswego as we head to the bottom of the second.
The NCAA would like to thank official equipment suppliers Honig, Rawlings, and Spec Seats for their support of NCAA championships. Their contributions help enhance the educational and athletic experiences of more than 500,000 NCAA student athletes. Do you plan to play college sports? Visit ncaa.org/playcollegesports to learn more about NCAA eligibility requirements. Fans, tell the world you are here. Share your experiences, connect with other fans, and gain behind-the-scenes access to your favorite teams. For more information, visit ncaa.com/social. Also, fans, your opinion matters. Please visit ncaa.com/feedback to take a survey and tell us about your experience at today's event. Fans, you can now access the official NCAA digital game program on your mobile device, tablet, or laptop free of charge. Visit ncaa.com/game programs for an inside look at today's championship.
Back here for the bottom of the second inning. On a day that would be great to play some golf, but right now we're watching a very competitive game between the top two teams in this New York Regional. Oswego leading Southern Maine 2-1. Swung on and missed as the left fielder Holton, hitting .260 on the year, steps to the plate, now behind 0-2 to Curran.
Well, Curran looks a lot like the pitcher we saw yesterday, Tyler Levitt. Both tall lefties, the strong delivery, and I think Curran's got a little bit more length to him, just a little bit lankier than Levitt is. But
swung on and missed, strike three, and for Curran, that's his second strikeout, but the second time he's opened an inning with a K. And
yeah, very similar pitching style to Levitt. Locates his fastball, uses his off-speed pitches very well.
Yeah, he's 3 inches shorter than yesterday's starter, but he really has length. And 6'1", 175-pound sophomore out of South Portland.
Yeah, a lot of arms and legs coming to the plate. And he pitches from the first base side of the rubber from the full windup here. And it looks like, especially against this lefty-lefty matchup, coming mostly over the top here, drops the arm angle just a little bit for his breaking stuff, but still very, very hard thrower and just kind of a tough delivery for these batters to pick up on as he kind of hides the ball behind his body and then slings it over the top.
The first baseman, Dinges, fouls that one off down the left field line and out of play. .231 hitter on the year. That's high.
Now you can see when he brings it back, he really takes that ball low, below his belt, behind his body, and then slings it all the way through the zone very quickly.
Ground ball through the left side. That's going to be a one-out hit for Dinges. Dinges did not have a hit in the 11-10 win over Ithaca in the first day of this regional. Yesterday against Tufts, he came in as a defensive replacement, so that is his first hit of this tournament.
Well, he poked that one through the left side there, just kind of going with the pitch, outside pitch. He just slaps it into left field for a base hit.
So with one out, it'll bring up the shortstop Whalen as that pitch is up. Whalen hitting .327 on the year. Junior out of Cortland, New York. 5'11", 190-pounder.
Well, Cortland, he's relatively local, so I'm sure he's got family and friends in the stands today, along with most of this Oswego team. Oswego's campus only about 45 minutes away from this Syracuse location. So, like we said earlier, a lot of green and gold in the stands today. Looks like really a standing room only crowd, as a lot of people up on the rails here on both sides.
Well, we saw during the intros to start the game just how loud the crowd was for Oswego. And Southern Maine has traveled fairly well considering the distance, but definitely home field advantage here for Oswego, only being about a 45-minute drive away. And that is a balk as Dinges affected the
first base umpire was the one to call it. He must have seen Curran, I guess, cross with that knee, that lift leg, must have crossed the plane either forwards or backwards, or started to the base and then delivered home.
But you can see that Curran was looking over at Dinges, and you have to think that impacted that balk there. Second balk we've seen in this tournament.
Yeah, it's kind of strange that he's so worried about Dinges, first baseman, so not exactly a speed demon
Bunt
on
attempt
the base
here,
pass.
and it's going to be a sacrifice and a run scored as Dinges will score on the throwing error going all the way into the corner.
And that's the first error of this regional tournament by the Southern Maine Huskies, and it's going to cost them a run.
And it's now 3-1 in favor of Oswego State. Dinges, who got to second base on the balk, was sacrificed to third by Whalen. Actually, it's a base hit because I think he would have been safe. And then we'll see how they score it.
Number 21, Alex Brown.
If it's just a straight error or if it's, they're going to score just a straight error. It would have been close play at first because Curran had to quickly come off the mound to have a chance at it. We're going to have a conversation here with Ed Flaherty and his pitcher Curran, but I guess officially we'll score that a sacrifice and an error.
Well, it's a great bunt by Whalen there, putting it down the third baseline. A tough play for a left-handed pitcher to have to come all the way down to the third baseline, pick it up, and turn basically all the way around and fire off his back foot to try to get the speedy Whalen down at first base. Instead, Curran, the sophomore, instead of eating it, which I think he should have because I'm not sure he would have gotten him anyway, he throws it, he skips it in front of the first baseman covering and sends it into shallow right field.
Well, it's now 3-1, and Brown will step to the plate. Still just one away with Whalen at first. So Whalen, that's bunted in the air. It's going to be an easy play here for the catcher, Kip Richard. Not what Oswego was looking for. Brown couldn't get the bunt down off the barrel of the bat and went straight up in the air, and he could have walked there.
I like the play call, though, actually, going right back to the well with the bunt after the misplay by the Huskies, making them field it again. I don't hate the call there. It's just poor execution by Brown as he pops it up.
Oh, it's definitely poor execution and something that you practice all year long, and got to be disappointing that when you need it most, you couldn't get it down. So now with 2 outs, Randall back to the top of the order. He struck out swinging in the first inning. See if Oswego can extend this lead. In the air, center field. Right there is Warren. And that does end the inning as Randall flies out. But the Lakers are able to score another run on the first error of this tournament for the Southern Maine Huskies. A run on a hit and one left. We head to the third inning. Your score, 3-1 Oswego on top of Southern Maine. Top of the third inning in Syracuse. Ira Thor, Brett Ford with you, and back to the man will be Mitchell Kavanaugh, the 6'2", 215-pound junior out of Oneida, New York, and he's working with a 3-1 lead to the right fielder Quintal, the leadoff hitter who has crossed the plate quite a bit this tournament, Brett.
Yeah, he's been a Quintal Central leadoff hitter here for the Huskies. Scoring 5 runs this tournament, including their only run of the game so far, reaching on an error in the first inning.
How long have you been working on that?
Just came up with it about 30 seconds ago.
I thought we were going to have a Charles Barkley, Samuel L. Jackson type commercial here, and that you were working on this since the movie release.
No, I don't think that far ahead.
We're not going to have steaks on a plane?
That is a great campaign. Those two work together so well. And then, of course, adding Spike Lee is just some comic relief as well. But Samuel L. Jackson, such a versatile actor, and really does a good job in those commercials.
Going to have steaks on a plane. The 2-1 is low. It's 3-1.
Charles Barkley is pretty funny himself. Not exactly you're my favorite actor, but is great covering the NBA and when they covered the NCAA Division I men's basketball championships, Charles and Shaq and Ernie did a great job, and Kenny Smith, of course.
Line to right field, coming in, diving, cannot make the catch, was Barnes. However, quickly getting to his feet. Quintal has to stop it first.
Well, Barnes got a piece of that ball, and he's lucky. He dove, and that was a huge gamble. If that ball gets past him without him making contact and knocking it down, that's going to the fence. You might see a Little League home run here as Quintal is extremely fast going around the bases. He took an aggressive turn around first base.
So leadoff base hit, it'll be Bender hitting .356. He singled in the first inning. Second time, by the way, Quintal's been on base as he reached on an error to lead off the game. I'm not going to lie, after the snack hoodie commercial, I did attempt it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a snack hoodie.
With Cheetos.
The only problem is after you, if you don't wash it immediately after, you might forget, and then, of course, you throw the hood up, and now you got Cheeto dust in your hair.
That could have very easily happened. That's a fly ball to right field. This time, enough time for Barnes to make the catch. That's out number 1.
The shortstop, number 6.
I'm actually surprised I didn't get a photo of that. That would have been great online. You guys would have had a blast.
What, the Cheeto dust in your hair?
Yes. Well, I didn't get the dust in my hair because I actually did wash it.
Oh, man. I could use a snack hoodie right now. I would love some Cheez-Its or some pretzels or something to munch on.
How about a chicken wing hoodie?
Ooh. That needs like a plastic like saran wrap interior on the hoodie though, so you don't stain the fabric on the inside of the hoodie there. It needs to be like waterproof or something so you can really let the sauce pull at the bottom.
Olzak, the shortstop, he had the sacrifice fly on the first, and if we can make a chicken wing hoodie, you could actually use it not only to store your wings, but also to wipe your mouth.
True. And the only problem would be, where do you hold the blue cheese? You'd need almost like a separate side compartment.
Well, you have a pocket on the side.
Yeah, blue cheese in the pocket, though, it just seems
Well, the
like
left
a
side
mess.
you got blue cheese, the right side you have celery. I don't know where you put the ranch, but
Oh, ranch on wings is blasphemous.
you must not be from the Great Garden State. It's delicious.
No, blue cheese is the true dressing for wings. It's the intent. It's if you're a wings purist, which, not that I'm from Buffalo or anything, but I'm living up that way now, you have to have blue cheese with your wings.
Is that where wings were invented in Buffalo?
Yes, hence the buffalo wing. They're not, little bones out of a big old bison.
It's called strike 2 balls and 1 strike.
It's funny. Almost every metropolitan area in upstate New York has their own chicken dish where you have, obviously the buffalo wing, the chicken riggies from the Utica area. You have the garbage plate from the Rochester area. And then, of course, your chicken speedies out of Binghamton.
What do they have in Fredonia?
Nothing. There's
No,
nothing in
nothing in
Fredonia.
Fredonia.
there's nothing out there. Just the college. Just actually a member of the SUNYAC, our host institution here, the State University of New York Athletic Conference. Tom DiCamillo, the commissioner, doing a great job. And here goes Quintal for second base. He's in there under the tag.
He will dive in with the steal, put himself in scoring position with just 1 away.
Yeah, the SUNYAC doing a great job of hosting this regional tournament. Kind of a last-minute thing, had to be put together. There was no NCAA regional here in New York until Tom DiCamillo stepped up to the plate along with Dan Drutz to organize this, and they've done a fantastic job.
Tom, who's worked in several states and had a lot of experience over the years, past president of the College Sports Information Directors of America, a Hall of Famer in that organization, now multi-year commissioner here in the SUNYAC, as that is driven down the right field line. Fly ball just in fair territory. The catch is made by Barnes. Tagging and diving is Quintal, and he just beats it. He looked like he dove early there, Brett, but was still able to slide successfully into the bag.
Yeah, he's been he's been flying around these base paths. I hope Delacari's paying attention. He had some trouble with sliding on Thursday. I don't know if he's ever going to live that one down. But Quintal, no problem there as he slides. Looks like a slip and slide out there on this turf.
He started sliding right at the lip of the
cutout
the cutout of the faux grass there. To me, that's maybe 2 or 3 feet too early. And
well, he got there.
He got there, but you could see that it was almost like that slow, extended, almost like slow motion. Hapworth will step to the plate, hitting .397. He struck out in the top of the first.
Yeah, Hapworth, a guy with a big bat. He went 1 for 5 against Castleton with an RBI, and then 2 for 4 against the College of New Jersey with a run scored and 2 batted in. He also walked in that game, so he was on base quite a bit. And
he had his 13th double of the year. Quintal had 2 doubles, his 14th and 15th. He stands at third base as Oswego leads 3-1 here in the top of the third. Game 7 of the New York Regional. Whoever wins this game is going to put themselves in the driver's seat to get to the World Series.
On this Hapworth kid, just a freshman, but hard to believe. He's just a big, thick body. I mean, he looks like a tree trunk out there. He must be like a workout warrior. He's just a big, strong kid.
Only a freshman, the league's rookie of the year. First team all-conference selection. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kavanaugh deals. Popped in the air. Behind the pitcher's mound. Coming over and reaching up, makes the catch. As he looked into the sun was Kyle Dinges. And Quintal is stranded at third base here in the top of the third. So for Southern Maine, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base. Bottom of the third coming up in Syracuse. Your score, Oswego 3, Southern Maine 1. We'll be right back. Well, Southern Maine has won 25 of their last 29 games, dating back to April 5th, a win over Bowdoin. They actually won 15 in a row to start the streak, lost to UMass Boston in league play as UMass Boston ended up winning that conference, and then the Huskies won the next 6. So they actually had a 21 out of 22 game stretch, now 25 of 29. This is a matchup today, the 4th matchup this tournament of nationally ranked teams. Hamilton, who grounded out on the first pitch he saw in the first inning, steps to the dish for the second time. The 2-time SUNYAC Player of the Year trying to break through, now 0-8 in this tournament at the plate. Ground ball to second base yet again. Dexter is in time to throw out Hamilton. So 1 away, it'll bring up Delacari, who was the designated hitter and singled in the first inning before scoring on the 2-run shot by Barnes. Barnes, who we interviewed yesterday, and we were talking about the conversation that he had with the third base coach over his RBI single gave Oswego the win over Tufts.
Yeah, Coach Chris Haynes down at third base. Barnes is saying that basically Haynes just told him, hey, trust your hands, trust your natural ability.
Ground ball to shortstop. And that will be in time as Olzak, I should say, is able to throw out Delacari. That's now out number 2. Barnes, we'll see if he trusts his hands on this at bat.
The right fielder, number 20, John.
I thought that was a very interesting revelation, that because it was such a quick conversation. He walked over to Coach Haynes. He literally said 3-4 words to him. It was a 2-second conversation. He walked back, choked up, and got the game-winning hit.
Yeah, he basically said trust your hands, and it's funny because it seemed like both coach and player knew what pitch was coming. He talked about R.J. Hall's cutting action on his fastball, having it cut back in on the hands of the right-handed hitters as he was pounding the inside portion of the zone. And Barnes was able to kind of tuck his hands in, get the inside-out swing, and force it out into shallow center.
And this one line to center field, that's going to fall in for his second hit of the game, a 2-out single for Barnes. That is the 4th for Oswego, and it'll bring up the second baseman, Kolar.
Now Barnes now 2 for 2 in this game. Really looks like he's seeing the ball well, and really all tournament has been hitting the ball well. He's got the most RBIs on this Oswego team. He's got 5 so far this tournament.
Well, his average well over 300 now on the year. He's going in one direction. Hamilton falling in the other direction. But you need someone to pick you up in the tournament, and offensively right now, Barnes has been that guy. 2-run homer, winning hit yesterday. Probably been the Lakers' most outstanding overall offensive player. Again, his 6th home run of the year. Now he has 14 extra base hits, 32 RBIs on the season, just 2 behind Hamilton.
Well, here's another guy stepping to the plate that's hit a home run in this regional, Zach Kolar. He lifted a curveball down and in over the left field fence. Now, granted, it was in favorable hitting conditions, but still got a hold of it, turned on it, and really a line drive home run over the 330 mark out in left field.
And that was his first home run of the season. He's only had 3 extra base hits the entire year, but he's a good hitter, hitting 300. The 1-ball, 2-strike count coming here from Curran with 2 outs. And that's a ground ball to third base. And they'll go the short way to second for the force as Bender throws over to Dexter. For a second, it looked like Bender couldn't get the ball out of his glove, but was able to do so. And Oswego's unable to convert after the single by Barnes. We are 3-1 through 3 innings, Game 7 of the New York Regional.
Leading off the 4th inning for the Huskies, the catcher number 31, Kip Richard.
Now we're back here for the top of the 4th inning, Game 7, Southern Maine, Oswego. And as we ponder our lunch options, I send over play-by-play duties to my partner, Brett Ford.
Well, Dan Drutz comes in and gives us the options of barbecue chicken, peppercorn roast. Oh, you wanted me to do play-by-play for the baseball game. I apologize, Ira. Sorry.
Well, I'm looking at the options here, and there's so many good ones. We got barbecue chicken sandwich with lettuce and tomato. We got roast beef sandwich with peppercorn. It says HR. I don't know what that stands for.
Horseradish.
Oh, okay.
As Kip Richard steps to the plate, 2-0. And here's Kavanaugh's delivery. High, ball 3.
Horseradish might have been a good option. We got corned beef sandwich with Russian dressing. Too much conversation about Russians lately. We got chicken tender sandwich with ranch dressing, which I know you don't like now because you think that's blasphemy.
No. Only on wings. Ranch dressing is fine for things like, well, I would say salad, but it's been concluded that I don't like that either, apparently.
I suppose there will not be any salad as a appetizer at your wedding.
Oh, no. I don't know. Ask Crystal.
She is in charge.
That's exactly right. 3-1. Ball 4. Kip Richard draws a leadoff walk as Kavanaugh. All 4 of those balls were up in the zone. It looks like you may just need to follow through on his pitches here. He might be overthrowing just a bit, as that brings up Andrew Hillier, the first baseman, 0 for 1 with a strikeout to lead off the second inning.
Oh, I see there's also a falafel tot sandwich. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but that is option E.
You ever had falafel?
No.
No, me neither. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
I'm not sure either.
I think it's some sort of starch. I'm sure we could Google it.
We can Google a lot of things. I have enough starch in my personality.
Hillier, first pitch for a ball. Kavanaugh from the stretch. There's a strike for
It
Kavanaugh.
is officially noon, so I guess we have to make a decision, Brett. I'm going to go with the barbecue chicken sandwich with lettuce and tomato because, you know, I didn't get to have salad yesterday, and there's lettuce and tomatoes that ultimately will help me get all the food groups.
Well, I was debating between the barbecue chicken and the roast beef as Kavanaugh delivers. This ball lined through the 6-hole. Hamilton swipes at it, nearly picks it with his glove. Instead, it goes into shallow left center where Zach Whalen picks it up. That's going to be a single, I believe. Yeah, ruled as a hit. Runners on first and second as Hillier reaches base.
Yeah, it definitely has to be a single there. Hamilton laid out, and you actually saw his counterpart at shortstop. Zach Whalen was going towards the hole, I guess, to back up Hamilton. And then when Hamilton dove and tipped off his glove, it actually went towards the second base side of his shortstop. So any chance to get the runner was eliminated, but I don't think they had any chance anyway.
Well, that brings up Paul McDonough, the left fielder. His first hit of the tournament came in the second inning, a single to center. Also added a stolen base, but was left stranded. Kavanaugh delivers.
And they will try to sacrifice
squares
him.
Around. Yeah, he looked like he had plenty of room to lay down a bunt down the third baseline as Hamilton stays home at third. Dinges charging from the first base side. I guess Kavanaugh will be in charge of fielding on that third base side.
So are you ultimately going with the roast beef sandwich with peppercorn and horseradish?
Well, see, here's my thinking. I'm debating between the barbecue chicken and the roast beef. As the bunt goes down the third baseline, Hamilton charging, tries to barehand, no dice. Can't come up with it. McDonough with the bunt single to load the bases with no outs for the Huskies.
And it's interesting that they weren't playing in there. You know he's going to bunt. He showed it on his first attempt at the plate there. If I'm Hamilton, I'm playing in a little bit more, give myself time. It was a well-positioned bunt there by McDonough. It's going to be their fifth hit. But now the bases are loaded for the Huskies, and to me, I think that is a play that, while it should be a hit officially, was more routine than it appeared on the field because you knew what was coming.
Jake Dexter steps into the batter's box now. Bases loaded, no outs, top of the fourth. Called strike as Kavanaugh drops in a curveball.
Right.
Ira, I think I'm going to go with the barbecue chicken. I would do the horseradish, peppercorn, roast beef, but I feel like I'm going to pay for that later if I do.
Well, I feel that it's very spicy, and you'll be coughing in the middle of your play-by-play duties. And
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant when I said pay for it later.
yeah, well, I'm looking out for your well-being here.
I appreciate that. As Dexter chases a pitch down in the proverbial dirt on the turf, 0-2. Let's see if Kavanaugh can limit the damage out of this jam. Bases loaded, no outs. He sets and delivers. Dexter fouls this one back. Might hit the food truck out there.
That'll delay our order.
That'd be a terrible thing. He needs to put that ball in fair territory. Can't have that happen. So the count remains 0-2. Kavanaugh on the mound. Richard on third. Hillier on second. McDonough on first for the Huskies. The pitch. Ball one low. And Brown does a good job of keeping that in front, using the chest protector as it skids off the turf in front of him. Kicks off to his side, had a hard time finding it for a second there, but able to recover and hold the runner at third. So a 1-2 count now to Dexter, the second baseman. And like we said, Dexter in all-conference selection for the Huskies, not only as a second baseman, but also as a relief pitcher.
Some leagues, they have a utility position for that for people who play in multiple positions and excel at both. In this case, it was broken up into 2 different spots. And you know what? He is the best second baseman in the league, best relief pitcher in the league, one of the best in the whole country. Maybe this is the way it should be.
That's another ball. That's 3 consecutive pitches in the dirt, or the turf, for Kavanaugh.
Can we call it the DERF?
No.
Well, I'm going to call it the DERF.
The DERF. That just sounds confusing. Sounds like a typo, frankly.
Oh, it's day 3 of the regional. By now, we're bound to have a few typos.
No, Tim Volkman did the program. No typos in that. It looks immaculate.
He's also a perfectionist.
That's exactly right.
And he worked out this morning, which I was very proud of because you and I were eating breakfast, and there was not much working out going on there.
And here comes Tim into the hotel breakfast area sweating.
And I asked him, hey, were you working out?
And he
no,
responded,
I woke up this way.
He responded, no, I just woke up in a deep sweat, had a bad dream. And, of course, I responded, yeah, well, if I was working out, that would have been a bad dream. Bases loaded, no outs, 2-2.
For the equipment.
This one out to center. Wes Randall camped under it. Here comes the throw as Richard attempts to tag up from home. Cut off by Dinges and held as the Huskies bring in a run on a productive out, a sac fly by Jake Dexter. 3-2 here in the top of the 4th. Runners on first and second. 1 out, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Warren.
The center fielder, number 2, Devin Warren.
So we'll see if the number 9 hitter can come through here now with 1 out and 2 runners still on. And Southern Maine with a golden opportunity to tie this game on a base hit.
Yeah, Oswego here. Kavanaugh looking for a ground ball, hopefully a double play. It's going to be tough to double up Warren, though. He's got some speed coming out of the box. First pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Kavanaugh's really been working that outside corner in the first 3 innings. 4 of his last 5 outs in the first 3 innings were balls to the right side, right-handed hitters, late to the fastball in the outside corner and trying to push it that way. A lot of weak pop-ups to the right side. As this one, a slow chopper to the shortstop. Whalen tries to get Warren. Warren's just too fast out of the box. Base hit, infield single. Loads the bases once again for the top of the order. And here comes Quintal.
Yeah, you saw Kavanaugh there kind of contort coming off the mound, trying to reach out for it. That was really the only chance because Whalen playing back there, no way he was going to be able to charge in time to have a chance against a speedy Warren. That's one of those plays on grass. I think you'll obviously get a different read than you will on a turf surface like this. Southern Maine getting some big breaks here. And now going to have him settled down by his pitching coach.
Yeah, this is Scott Landers coming out of the dugout, sticking his finger in the chest of Kavanaugh, telling him, hey, you got this, dude. He trusts his pitcher here. Kavanaugh, a junior, so an upperclassman and someone that Landers seems to have a lot of trust in. So they'll leave him out there. Nobody warming in the bullpen, so clearly a lot of trust here and hoping his junior can work out of this jam.
Winners bracket game, both teams 2-0, both teams national ranked. Kavanaugh is 8-0, first team all-conference pitcher. He's going as long as he physically can, as long as this game doesn't get out of hand. And he's still working with the lead, just now with trouble. And Oswego 7th in the country in the D3 baseball poll, 9th by the American baseball coaches. This Southern Maine squad has been on the borderline of a top 10 team all year. They're now 21st with D3 baseball and 14th with the American baseball coaches. I think they're underranked. I think they should be a top 10 team.
Well,
I voted them as a top 10 team in my poll. I have one of the 25 votes, and I've had them somewhere between 8 and 12 for the last month.
I think if they played in a different region, Ira, they might have more votes. Kind of a team that doesn't get much exposure here in the deep Northeast up in Portland, Maine, kind of the northern extremity of New England. As Kavanaugh delivers the 1-0 low and away, ball 2.
By the way, 7th is exactly where I had Oswego in my last poll before the tournament. So, and they've really been one of those teams that you expected a lot out of this year. I don't know if anybody expected them to be this good, but clearly a top 15 type team coming into the season.
Kavanaugh with the 2-0. That's outside as well. 3-0. Kavanaugh's missing the zone. Stares down the umpire, trying to get a read on where that ball was. Not thrilled about the call.
And obviously a fourth ball here would knot this game up.
Quintal in the driver's seat here. We'll see if he has the green light from Flaherty. And he's taking all the way. Strike 1 on the outside corner as Kavanaugh looks to preserve this lead here. 3-1 to the leadoff hitter. Quintal 1 for 2 on the day. Reached both times. Reached on an error in the first inning and then singled through the right side in the third. And this ball launched to left field right at Eli Holton. That's deep enough to score a run. And this play, so they will count the run at home as that play cut off by the shortstop Whalen, fired over to Hamilton at third. They get the runner, McDonough, moving from second to third. But Hillier comes home on the sac fly. Is it still a sac fly if it's a double play, Ira?
It is a sac fly, but I also think that they should have maybe appealed at third because I thought that the runner Hillier actually left early. They're not going to appeal, so the run will stand and the game will be tied at 3-3. But that was a bold play there by McDonough, trying to go from second to third and ultimately ran his team out of the inning. You never want to make the last out at third base.
Well, we enter the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 runs for the Huskies. And now we're tied 3-3. Oswego coming to bat here in the bottom of the 4th.
Leading off the 4th for Oswego, the left fielder, number 24, Eli Holton.
We are back here at Onondaga Community College, Syracuse, New York, the New York Regional of the NCAA tournament. Leading off for the Oswego Lakers, Eli Holton, as they try to respond to a 2-run inning by the Southern Maine Huskies, tying the game at 3-3.
And ultimately that was a 7-6-5 put out at third. What's notable, obviously, there is had the out at third happened before the run crossed the plate, and we would not be tied after all. Hillier was able to score probably just an eyelash before.
Yeah, Justin Sims was emphatic on the call, making sure that the press box knew that the run counts. Player crossed the plate before the tag was made at third base.
He pointed down at the plate, ultimately 2-3 times pointing at the plate, so everybody knew, the fans knew, there was no doubt about it that the run did indeed count.
So the count is 2-2 here to Holton. And that ball low and inside, ball 3, the count fills up. Now Holton, a swinging strikeout victim in the second, his only at-bat of the day. And he is rung up on a pitch on the inside corner. Oswego fans don't like it. But the Huskies will take it. That's 2 strikeouts for Holton. 3 on the day for Curran.
This is the 4th matchup in this tournament between nationally ranked teams. On day one, TCNJ and Tufts, the 3 and 4 teams in this tournament. That was a fantastic game with TCNJ winning 4-3 on a walk-off in the bottom of the ninth, right before the clock struck midnight. We had 2 yesterday. Of course, you had Tufts for the second time in this tournament having to face a national ranked team, losing to Oswego 1-0. Tough way for them to go out of this field. 2 one-run losses to teams ranked higher than them in the standings.
Well, you have to feel for the Jumbos. They played well. They played 2 very good games, 2 excellent pitching performances, and just couldn't get it done as Din just lines this one out to right. And Adam ball, he's retired by Quintal, who hardly even had to move.
And then, of course, one national ranked matchup that was not as entertaining was the TCNJ Southern Maine yesterday, with Southern Maine putting up 7 in the third and winning 10-1 over the Lions. The Lions at Ithaca will play our next game at approximately 2:15 p.m. It'll be an elimination game, and then there'll be 3.
Oh, here Curran deals to Whalen. Zach Whalen, the shortstop, made that great catch and relay throw to third. Good awareness by Whalen, not just to turn and fire to home to try to get the runner who really he had no chance on. Good awareness to make the throw to third, cut down the runner there, and end the inning.
And he certainly made up for the error that he had that led to a run in the first inning.
Well, they'll try to continue to overrule that with a at bat here. This is going to send the left fielder McDonough back, but he's able to track on it, make the play, and end the inning. Oswego goes down in order, 1, 2, 3. We head to the top of the 5th. Southern Maine 3, Oswego 3 here at the New York Regional Onondaga. We're back here at Onondaga Community College, Syracuse, New York, for the NCAA Tournament New York Regional, where Southern Maine and Oswego tied 3-3 in a winner's bracket game. The winner to advance to the championship tomorrow. Ira, let's talk about some out-of-town scores in the rest of the regionals.
Well, day one on Thursday, we saw 11 nationally ranked teams lose, which meant day two, you had 11 nationally ranked teams facing elimination. However, they were much more successful on May 19th. Taking a look at the scoreboard from yesterday, top-ranked LaGrange beat Rowan 12-5 in a winner versus winner game. Also in a winner-winner game, second-ranked Johns Hopkins beat Alvernia 13-9. This was at the Mid-Atlantic Regional in York, PA. However, third-ranked Wisconsin Whitewater not as successful, losing to La Crosse 5-2. And fifth-ranked Texas Tyler made an early exit from the NCAAs in a regional they were hosting in Tyler, Texas, losing to Concordia 5-2. Sixth-ranked Birmingham Southern beat Webster 6-4. Brett's alma mater, Misericordia, in a elimination game, lost to eighth-ranked Worcester 12-0. Another elimination game, 9th-ranked Salisbury survived Otterbein 6-4. Shenandoah, ranked 10th in the nation, fell to Wheaton, Mass. 6-0. In a game that interested a lot of folks in these parts, Cortland, in an elimination game, beat La Roche 10-2. Cortland 4th in the country, La Roche 12th. Of course, we had Oswego and Tufts as a nationally ranked matchup here in Syracuse, with Oswego beating Tufts 1-0.
As Bender leads off the inning for the Huskies, he draws a leadoff walk. That brings up number 6, the shortstop, Andrew Olsak.
Taking a look at some of our other scores, this also was an elimination game. Washington University in Missouri, the 14th ranked team in the country, beat Greenville 7-1. 15th ranked Cal Lutheran against number 11 Centenary, Louisiana. 8-2 game there, Cal Lu on top. Cal Lu has actually turned a triple play in this tournament, as has Alvernia. Number 16 ranked Washington and Jefferson with a lopsided 15-6 win over Earlham, which was a really good story because Earlham beat Worcester. And that was their first ever NCAA appearance in baseball. Their first NCAA tournament victory in any sport, Brett. Some other scores. Nearby St. John Fisher, 18th in the country, staved off elimination. They beat Worcester 14-7.
That was the Massachusetts Worcester, not the Ohio Worcester.
Yes, there's so many ways to say your Worcester. And
Worcester.
I got to tell you.
Anybody in Massachusetts will hate me for saying that, but that's okay.
That's how I used to pronounce it when I was a teenager, and I got corrected pretty quickly by a native Massachusettsian? They weren't a Bostonian, so I can't say that.
We use another word for people from Massachusetts where I'm from, but we won't say that on the air.
No, I don't think we're permitted to say that. I'll give you some other scores in a moment, and then we'll look ahead to today's action.
This ball, Olsak to Whalen. Whalen flips to Kolar. Kolar to Dingus. What a stretch. Almost a complete split at first base. That's a 6-4-3 double play. Just what the doctor ordered for Kavanaugh, erasing that leadoff walk.
Yeah, very athletic play there at first base as the first baseman, Dingus, getting in this game after coming as a defensive replacement yesterday. Hasn't been hitting. He just had his first hit of this regional earlier in this contest, but he just really made an athletic play to get 2 outs on the board. A good turn between the middle infielders.
Yeah, Whalen and Kolar looked like they've done that before. Kolar snatching the toss barehanded and whipping it over to first base. And like you said, great stretch by Dingus.
Some other scores. This was in the Cape Cod Regional in New England. Really good game as 19th ranked Mass Boston was able to blank Babson 4-0. Babson is a team that I felt, even though they're unranked, was very capable of winning the New England Regional.
Hapworth lines this to left field. Should end the inning as Holton makes the catch. So 1-2-3 as a double play. He races the leadoff walk. Oswego comes to bat in the bottom of the 5th. 3-3.
We'll keep it here and take a look at the rest of the scoreboard from yesterday, as there were a handful of other games. Of course, we know about Southern Maine and TC&J right here in Syracuse, the 10-1 win for Southern Maine over the Lions. Meanwhile, Salve Regina defeated Penn State Berks 12-4 in an elimination game. In another, I believe this was an elimination game, St. Scholastica edging St. Norbert 2-0. Scholastica 23rd in the country. Rochester Tech, RIT, 24th in the country, 2 and out of the NCAA tournament, losing to an almost unknown Leslie squad, 6-5 in 15 innings. Ithaca, of course, beat Castleton here 5-2 in an elimination game. St. Thomas edges McAllister 3-2 in 11 innings. Roanoke beats Emory 4-2. SUNY Maritime falls to Elizabethtown 13-5. Rhodes is 2-0 in the NCAAs. They beat a good Linfield squad 11-7. Meanwhile, North Central beats Wartburg 8-3. Concordia Chicago, who was so good they got into the NCAA tournament twice. That's an inside joke. 7-2 over Adrian. And then in an 11-inning game out on Cape Cod that ended late, Suffolk edging Arcadia in 11 innings, 1-0. When we say that Concordia got in the tournament twice, on the original sheet that was released with listing the regionals, Arcadia was supposed to be in the New England Regional. Concordia was accidentally listed twice, taking Arcadia's spot, and we have friends at Arcadia, and we kind of rubbed it in a little bit once, even after the correction was made.
Well, leading off for the Lakers here is Brown, the catcher, number 21. He's 0 for 1, popping out that bunt attempt to the catcher in the second. He'll look for his first hit of the day here.
Oh, looks like lunch has been delivered.
This one's fouled off way out of play.
Well, let's take a look at some scores that are going on right now. First of all, St. John Fisher and Babson, an elimination game going on. Babson in the 9th inning. Looks like they're going to knock out St. John Fisher.
Ground ball to the second baseman, Dexter. He throws out Hillier, or throws to Hillier to retire Brown. It brings up Wes Randall, the leadoff hitter, center fielder.
Babson on top of St. John Fisher, 12-7. And it looks like the tournament will end on day 3 for St. John Fisher. Keystone, who you're high on, defeated DePaul, or not defeated, it's in the top of the 6th inning, but they are defeating DePaul 8-2. Meanwhile, Alvernia is in front of Elizabethtown after 7, 11-1. And then number 1 ranked LaGrange losing to Roanoke. That's in the middle of the 5th, 4-1.
Well, Alvernia Elizabethtown's kind of an interesting matchup there because they used to be Freedom Commonwealth rivals. MAC Commonwealth rivals back in the day. Elizabethtown now out of the Landmark Conference, I believe.
And they are members of the Landmark. I believe it's their first or second year in the league. Some other games today and some good matchups to look forward to. Johns Hopkins faces Wheaton. Whitewater against St. Thomas. Cortland will face the upstart Earlham team today. That's also an elimination game.
As Wes Randall is struck out swinging, Curran lays him down. That's his 4th strikeout of the day.
And he hasn't walked anyone.
He hasn't walked anybody, and that brings up Hamilton. Hamilton in a slump like no other. See if he can get the ball going. Or the bat going, rather.
The ball going off the bat would be his ultimate goal with his team in a 3-3 game here. And
yeah, he needs to be patient in the box. He's seems to have rushed his approach. First pitch swinging and then second pitch swinging. And this one through the hole. Eric Hamilton finally has a base hit in this regional. Single to the left side. And maybe that'll get his bat going, Ira.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Make contact with the ball. Put it in a useful spot, which is the left side of the infield there. And with him on base, good sign for Oswego's 2 outs. But you know what? Sometimes we've seen in this tournament so far, the best rallies have all started with 2 outs. And, Barnes hit the 2-out homer with this gentleman, Delacardi, on base. So we'll see what Oswego can do.
Yeah, 2 of their 3 runs have come with 2 out. As Delacardi steps to the plate, he has 7 home runs on the season, team high. There goes Hamilton. And I don't know if Richard didn't grip that ball properly or was just second-guessing himself, but he double pumped, allowing Hamilton to get in plenty of time. So a stolen base for Hamilton.
To me, it looked like Richard just couldn't get a good grip on the ball. And at that point, I don't know if he had a play in Hamilton anyway, but once he had the double pump, Hamilton was going to be safe.
Yeah, good jump by the third baseman there as he took off to second base and stole safely.
That is the 15th stolen base of the year for Hamilton in 18 tries. Very good percentage.
Well, Delacardi here with a 1-2 count. Laces this one to deep right center. Tracking back is Warren. He makes the grab.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors.
So no runs, 1 hit, no errors as the Lakers complete the 5th inning. We head to the 6th, all tied up at 3-3.
Leading off the 6th inning for the Huskies, the catcher, number 31, Kip Richards.
So here we are, bottom of the 6th, and Kip Richard comes to bat for the Huskies, facing the Lakers' Mitchell Cavanaugh. In the winner's bracket game, both teams 2-0 entering this contest. And this one will decide who enters or who becomes the first team to enter our New York Regional Championship. The winner today travels to Sunday's game tomorrow morning at 11, becoming the first team and having a serious advantage over whoever else enters. The winner of this game will need to be beaten twice as opposed to winning just one in order to claim the championship. As Richard grounds this one right back to Cavanaugh for the first out. Now the loser of this game will be forced to face the winner of our next game, an elimination game between Ithaca and the College of New Jersey. And now the winner of that game will face the loser of this game. The winner of those two teams will become the second team to advance to the championship tomorrow morning. If any of that's too confusing, you can go to SUNYACsports.com, check out the tournament page, and see the tournament format in a more easily readable version there.
I do better with pictures.
Yeah, not exactly easy to explain this tournament format. Double elimination tournament. Basically, the winning team here just has a significant advantage going into tomorrow's championship round.
Well, to be beaten twice on the same day with all the stakes on the line is not an easy thing for a team to do, especially knowing that whoever gets there likely will have lost to that team at some point in this tournament already.
Exactly, and it'll take pitching depth, timely hitting, and all the other things that make championship teams. Stepping to the plate now is Hillier, the first baseman. He fouls this one back to the screen to fill up the count.
And the only way we would have a championship matchup where two teams have not met so far is if it was Southern Maine against Ithaca or Oswego against TCNJ. Otherwise, everyone else, all the other matchups, teams have met at some point so far in the first two games of those four that are remaining.
Hillier skies this one to left field. Eli Holton coming in, makes the play. Can of corn, second out. Now, the expression can of corn, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, comes from back when grocers used to have to get cans off the top shelf from the grocery store. They would take a long stick, tap it off the top shelf, and catch it in their hands standing on the ground. So that expression became adapted as a lazy pop fly. Be called a can of corn because it's an easy catch.
That just sounds dangerous. Sounds like a workplace hazard.
Well, it's either that or climb up on a wobbly ladder, which is probably just as hazardous in the workplace.
This seems like a much more safe work environment. The roof is closed. We're not going to get drill by foul ball today.
Yeah, no roof hatch today, probably for the best, although that'll keep us from getting any souvenirs, unfortunately. Oh, this is Paul McDonough. McDonough 2 for 2, a single up the middle and a bunt single. He also has a stolen base today. Fouls this one over to the right side. That's in the Southern Maine bullpen.
He had a lot of room there.
There's so much foul territory here. We were talking about it all weekend. It plays like Oakland Coliseum, where there's just so much foul ground on all sides, kind of like that Oakland Stadium.
But that right there is the one part of the park with the most foul territory, just by the way that the fencing angles towards the dugout as you get closer to the bullpen.
Yeah, there's almost 25 to 30 yards there between the first base line and the fence. Strike 3 swinging as Brown holds on to the foul tip. Kavanaugh gets out of the inning, retiring the Huskies in order. We head to the bottom of the 6th. The Lakers will come to bat, tied 3-3.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for Southern Maine, number 1, Matt Corielli.
We are back here at Onondaga Community College, and it appears that Henry Kern's day is done. 5 innings, 3 runs, 2 earned on 5 hits and 4 strikeouts. Matt Corielli in for the Huskies. We saw Corielli on Friday evening after the long rain delay. He came in against the Spartans, pitched 2 innings, and got the win in relief. He owns a 2.86 ERA with a 6-4 record in 31 appearances this season, all of them out of the bullpen. So a very consistent bullpen arm, as he has 51 strikeouts and 50 innings this season.
I was actually quite surprised by the move. Curran had only thrown roughly 65 pitches, 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, 2 of them were earned, 5 hits. He struck out 4, walked no one, no hit batters, no wild pitches.
Corielli deals to Barnes. Barnes with a 2-run home run earlier this game. Laced the ball to dead center, driving in Delicari. He's got a 1-2 count. Corielli, the lefty, deals. Ball high, 2-2. A lot of lefties in this Southern Maine rotation here. You had Levitt last night, Curran to start this game, and now Corielli. 3 solid left-handed arms. Don't see a lot of left-handed pitchers here in the Division III.
At least good left-handed pitching.
Not sure where that one missed. I guess it was a little bit high. The count fills up to Barnes, 3-2. Correale deals the payoff pitch. Strike 3, swinging high cheddar. Barnes could not catch up. He's retired. And in steps second baseman Zach Kolar.
So the first time Barnes has been set down today. He's had, a really good day. The 2-run homer is the biggest hit in the game for either team. So entering Saturday across the 8 regionals in the country, not only are these 2 squads undefeated, you have Mass Boston and Suffolk in New England, both 2-0. Johns Hopkins and Wheaton Mass in the Mid-Atlantic, Roanoke and LaGrange in the South, Washington Jefferson and DePaul.
There's a base hit for Kolar down the left field line. He'll circle the bag at first, head into second. Throw to the bag is not in time. A head first slide by Kolar gives him a 1-out double here in the bottom of the 6th.
That was pretty close as well.
Yeah, great throw by the left fielder McDonough. Almost got Kolar at second. He attempted to stretch the single into a double and was successful.
To finish that last thought, Washington, Jefferson, DePaul, and Keystone still all undefeated in the Mid-East. That's obviously an 8-team regional to have 3 teams still unbeaten. Birmingham, Southern, and North Central, which is a surprise, unbeaten in the Central. Wisconsin Lacrosse and Concordia Chicago in the Midwest. Of course, Concordia Chicago's in the tournament twice, as we were joking around, so no surprise that they're undefeated at this point. Meanwhile, one surprise probably is out west. Cal Lutheran is 2-0, but so is Rhodes.
Yeah, the SAA showing well, 2-0 teams with Birmingham, Southern, and Rhodes, both going through the first 2 days undefeated. Rhodes knocking off Texas Tyler in the first round. Kind of a very big upset, surprising from the Rhodes team. Although that's a very strong conference. A lot of good teams down in the South there with Rhodes, Birmingham Southern. Teams like Hendrix College, Millsaps College, Berry College. Just a lot of good baseball down that way. As Eli Holton here will receive an intentional walk to bring up Sam Dingus.
Yeah, surprised that they're going to do this unless their intention here is to set up a force play.
Or Kyle Dingus, my apologies.
You know, because Holton had struck out twice, while Dingus had a single and a run scored. You know, unless the option here is that they're trying to go after the force potential double play ball, but
you
I don't
also
know
have
why.
the lefty-lefty advantage here as Correale faced Dingus. I'm not sure what Correale's lefty-righty splits are, but you have to assume that he's better when facing lefties. And here's a double play ball. Olsak. What a takeout slide at second. Hard slide by Holton. But the Huskies complete the double play anyway.
Well, that's why they did it. Now we know why they had the intentional walk. And the inning comes to a close on probably what they were planning.
Yeah, how dare we question Coach Flaherty there. The veteran tactically gets it done. Huskies out of the jam. We go to the top of the 7th inning, tied 3-3.
Here are some of the scores from around the nation. The bottom of the 9th inning, Babson leads St. John Fisher 12-8. Top of the 8th inning, Keystone leads DePaul 9-2. Bottom of the 9th inning, Alvernia leads Elizabethtown 11-1. Bottom of the 5th inning, Roanoke leads LaGrange 4-2. Bottom of the 6th inning, bottom of the 1st inning, Cal Lutheran 3, Rhodes 0.
Welcome back to Syracuse, New York, Onondaga Community College, where Southern Maine is taking on Oswego. For the final 3 innings, I'm going to let Ira take over on the play-by-play as I devour this barbecue chicken sandwich.
That's so generous of you, Brett. And the problem is this is not really barbecue chicken, we found out. Dexter drops down a bunt, throw to first. He dives head first, and he's safe. So Dexter, unconventional, dropping down a bunt, trying to get on that way, and he's successful as Southern Maine in a 3-3 game with the leadoff bunt single.
Great hustle there by Dexter. I'm not sure the slide was necessary, but the head first dive got there in time. You don't see that often, but made it work.
Now Southern Maine, Oswego, been locked in a 3-3 tie through the 5th and 6th innings. Throw back to first, checking on Dexter. What an aggressive play by Dexter, though. You have to, if you like really unorthodox plays right there, something as unconventional as a first pitch bunt and then a head first dive has to excite you.
Yeah, definitely exciting play for the Huskies. We'll see if the momentum carries over here in the next batter, Warren. And then, of course, the top of the order with Quintal.
Well, this is the bottom of the order contributing. Dexter already has a sax fly and now the single on the bunt. Meanwhile, Warren trying to sacrifice his teammate over. Singled in his last at-bat in the 4th inning.
Well, Flaherty's got his Huskies playing some small ball here. Gets the tactically gets the intentional walk and exactly what he wanted with the double play in the bottom half of last inning. Now here in the top half of this inning, playing some small ball, getting on with some bunts. Have players executing and doing their jobs, and it's working out for him so far.
Swinging away, right back at the pitcher. This could be 2. Whalen to first. Not in time. They get the force, however.
Warren.
And there's going to be an argument here from head coach Scott Landers at first base. Great
Warren's
job.
a big, tall kid, and his strides are huge. He got down the baseline very quickly.
Great job by Kavanaugh, the pitcher, not only to save himself, but have the wherewithal to glove that ball and turn so quickly to second.
Not sure what Landers is trying to accomplish out here. He had a conversation with the first base umpire, clearly upset about the call as he walks back to the dugout.
Well, Oswego has not scored since the 2nd inning. They put up 2 in the bottom of the 1st and 1 in the 2nd. They led 3-1. Southern Maine with a run in the top of the 1st after an error, then 2 to tie it in the 4th.
Oh, he had some comments for Sims on his way off the field as well.
This is Game 7 of the regional, and it's the 6th one that is incredibly competitive. I don't know if this was caught, but there was a no-hitter in the, I believe, the Central Regional Wartburg. A 3-0 no-hitter over Webster on day 1 of the tournament. So there's really a lot of excitement. Obviously, this regional has been the most competitive, and that's to be no surprise based on some of the teams that were put in this bracket. But there's been some really interesting developments. That one is in the derf, and taking off on the wild pitch will be Warren.
Well, that one hit the so-called derf and sat right underneath the catcher Brown. He turned and wheeled around trying to find it and actually kicked it away from himself with the ball caught right underneath his feet and allowing Warren to take second base.
Oh, big break there for Southern Maine. Can they capitalize with 1 out? That's off the plate. Next pitch will be the 100th for Kavanaugh.
Well, the last thing you want to do here is walk Quintal. He's an offensive catalyst, and there's so much speed on the base pass already. Last thing you want to do is put more on there.
The 2-0 outside, ball 3.
And frankly, if Quintal does get on first with a walk here, I wouldn't be shocked to see a double steal, both he and Warren on the front end.
So Quintal, top of the order. A run-scoring machine. Can he get on base and help this Southern Maine squad rally here in the 7th in a 3-3 game? Well, he does, as he patiently waits out the 4-pitch walk. So Warren at second, Quintal at first. For Kavanaugh, that is his 3rd walk against 3 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, and 7 hits and 6 1/3 innings. And
well, here comes Landers. Looks like he's making a change. He's already signaled to the bullpen. We'll see who's trotting out here for the Lakers as Kavanaugh gets a nice ovation from the Oswego crowd on his way to the bench.
And it looks like it'll be number 12, John Michael Guarino.
Well, Guarino, a senior, 5'9", 170 out of New Hampton, Minnesink Valley High School. I'll bring in a crafty veteran here, Ira, as Landers calls to the bullpen for the first time today.
Well, Kavanaugh, I thought, pitched well enough to get to this point in the game, and he's not going to have a chance to factor into a win should Oswego take a lead. But right now, they're just trying to keep this game knotted because you got 2 runners on, and both have speed. And Southern Maine has really captured the momentum of this game since that 4th inning.
Yeah, Guarino coming in. He's made 8 appearances on the year, all of them in relief. He's 1-1 with 3 saves, 16 2/3 innings pitched, allowing just 15 hits in those 16 innings, as well as 15 strikeouts. So only 6 earned runs, low ERA, a low batting average against with a 259, an extremely low whip, walks and hits per inning pitched. That's an extremely important stat, especially for a relief pitcher. He'll inherit 2 runners here from Kavanaugh in the top of the 7th.
Coming into play today, Oswego scored 260 runs on the year. They'd only allowed 145, so almost a 2-to-1 ratio there. But Southern Maine, the top hitting team in this tournament, a 328 batting average as a team. They've over 510 hits on the season now. In fact, updated totals, 516 hits. Both those numbers not only staggering, way out in front of this field. All 6 teams that were here in Syracuse. And we'll see if Bender, the number 2 hitter in the lineup, his average at 354, and he singled in the first, but he also flew out deep to right in the 3rd and walked in the 5th, and he's made contact in this game. And right now, the Huskies, the road team in this contest, they don't have the crowd on their side. Probably about 300 to 400 fans here that are Oswego, and you can tell they're Oswego based on the color green that they're wearing, not only based on where they're sitting. But the Southern Maine fans that are here are now on their feet, standing behind the dugout. And that was nearly thrown into center field. A good job by the shortstop. Whalen reached high above his head to pull that down.
Well, Ira, you remember what we said before the game about how this Southern Maine offense is a death by singles offense. They have 7 hits today, 3 runs scored, no extra base hits.
Now that is strike 1. Guarino, his first pitch, he has a very different, just the way he releases the ball. The release point it's not a sidearm delivery, but it's almost like he's whipping from behind his back.
Well, when he brings it back, he doesn't stretch his arm all the way back. He doesn't reach back as far. He kind of cocks it by his head, keeps the ball high up by his head, and then releases from there, as opposed to a lot of pitchers you see reach all the way back. It's a very quick release, little herky-jerky action on the bottom half as well.
Now, seeing that for the first time, you have to wonder, how much torque that has on the arm there, if there's any further chance for injury in that kind of a stance versus a power pitcher. I've never seen it done that way before. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a strange delivery, and it might be hard for the Southern Maine hitters to pick up this baseball.
The 0-2, check swing, and he did not go around. He held up.
Yeah, it looks like Guarino on this delivery does a good job of hiding the ball, especially from right-handed hitters, behind his body and head as he brings it around with the quick snap delivery.
Again, only 5'9", so not the height of some of the other pitchers we've seen on the mound this tournament. 1-2, and and that's lined towards center field, leaping, and over the head of the second baseman. That's a base hit. And that will load the bases as Warren, who had to hold up momentarily, heads down to third, Quintal to second. The second baseman, Kolar, leapt as high as he could, but it was over his outstretched glove.
Ira, another single for the Huskies, and that loads the bases. If this isn't trending in Portland yet, hashtag death by singles will be by the end of this game.
Sounds like a delicious snack as well. Olzak, the shortstop, with the bases loaded, and that is high for ball one.
Well, they don't have one yet this game, but if there was ever a time that Southern Maine needed an extra base hit, this would be it.
Now, double play is still a possibility, and the infielders are playing back. Fastball in the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Olzak, who's hitting .306. Number 3 hitter in the lineup had a sac fly in the first, but he's grounded into a double play in the fifth. He's 0 for 2 in this game. And a double play right here would be just what the Lakers want. Each team has turned 1 today.
That pitch was almost in the same spot that was the strike call last pitch. It's a very interesting strike zone today, and the Oswego fans are not happy with it.
Now, lots of moans and groans from our left by the Oswego dugout. The fans are out in droves. 2 balls and 1 strike. Guarino deals. Waving at that one is Olzak, so that's strike 2.
That was a nice off-speed pitch, well located down and away. Even if he had made contact with it, Olzak wouldn't have been able to do much with it. Probably would have just dinked it over to the first baseman or second baseman for an easy double play ball. So probably better that he didn't get contact.
Warren, the go-ahead run 90 feet away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 as Guarino comes in and gets Olzak chasing at a breaking ball off the plate.
Great location. Starts in the zone, breaks out of the zone, and Olzak chases. And now here comes another freshman. This is Hapworth. He's another dangerous bat for this Husky lineup.
This is exactly who you want up if you're the Huskies. The Rookie of the Year in the Little East, and this kid is potential future All-American, hitting .392, but he's 0 for 3 in this contest. A strikeout, a pop-up to first, and a line out to left. That's a called strike at the knees.
With 2 outs in the inning, all the runners are going to take off on contact. A base hit's going to score 2. A ball to the gap will score likely all 3.
Well, Hapworth has 42 RBIs in the year. The team lead by 11 and 9 home runs, 9 of their 26. That's a called strike right down the middle. That was certainly a drivable pitch.
Yeah, not sure what he was looking at there. Must have been guessing for an off-speed pitch instead of the fastball he got. But that one was right down the pipe. If he had swung, probably would have gone a long way.
Guarino ahead 0-2. That's high.
Yeah, Guarino's likely going to keep pounding that outside corner. Look for him to stay away from Hapworth here. Try to get him to chase again like he did with Olzak.
Guarino with 16 strikeouts on the year now in 17 innings. Looking for back-to-back Ks to end this inning and end this bases-loaded threat. The 1-2 outside again, and Hapworth lays off. Good job by the young DH not chasing. That's what obviously Guarino was looking to do there. Back-to-back pitches, both tailing off the plate.
Well, 2's across the scoreboard now. If you're superstitious, you know what this means.
The 2-2 by Guarino. Swung on and missed on the breaking ball, striking out Hapworth, and the inning comes to a close. Southern Maine loads the bases with 1 out, but they cannot get the go-ahead run across, and we head to the 7th inning stretch, knotted at 3 runs apiece. Back here in Syracuse, bottom of the 7th inning, and a big moment for Southern Maine, but the relief pitcher, Guarino, came in, back-to-back strikeouts. And great decision it looked like there by head coach Scott Landers. Huskies have now left 7 on base. And Oswego will send the shortstop Whalen hitting .321. He'll be the leadoff hitter as the 8, 9, and 1 batters, Whalen, Brown, and Randall, come to the plate. He was showing bunt. Coriali, the pitcher. Got a 6-4-3 double play to get out of the 6th inning. That's a called strike, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, these Oswego fans have been on the home plate umpire, Justin Sims, all game. It's like he can't please everybody, you know?
It's like being a politician. Half the people will always hate you. Ground ball up the middle. That is a base hit to lead off this 7th inning for the Lakers.
Well, that looked like a mistake by Coriali. The target was set up on the outside corner. His ball tailed inside there, and Whalen took advantage, driving it right back up the chute for a single up the middle.
So with 1 on and nobody out, it'll bring up the catcher, Brown, who's 0 for 2 in this game. A foul out to the catcher and a ground ball to second base. Southern Maine, 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Oswego, 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. Each team has turned 1 double play. This game, 2 hours old.
Now here's Brown. See, he bunted unsuccessfully in the 2nd and then grounded out to the second baseman in the 5th. Wouldn't be surprised to see him try to sacrifice again here.
But here comes Ed Flaherty, and he motions to the bullpen.
Now, he motioned out to left field, and
that's what he's going to do here. Is his left fielder, I believe, is going to come in and pitch.
Well, that's Paul McDonough. And what they might do here is move McDonough to second base, possibly bring in Dexter. And we saw Dexter come in as a reliever.
It has to be that because McDonough is not listed as a pitcher, and Dexter, I mean, that he has already thrown a lot of pitches in this series. I wonder if...
Well, he's only faced 9 batters against Castleton. So he did face the minimum, though he tossed 3 innings. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, 3 innings seems like a lot, but sometimes it's how much of a toll really was had in that time, and he only threw a limited number of pitches. He might be ready to go 3 innings yet again. I'll tell you what, if Dexter is able to come through these final 3 innings, talk about a performance from a reliever to 2 times in 1 series come in and be that guy.
Yeah, Jake Dexter is, I mean, that'll be a huge clutch moment if he can come in and shut down this Oswego offense. That would make a great case for the all-tournament team. You know, so far he's got 3 hits in the previous 2 games and a single in this one as well as an RBI. So, you know, 4 hits in 3 games as well as already 3 shutout innings of relief, and the Huskies are hoping for 3 more.
He's only a sophomore and such a versatile player. Yeah, when Coach Flaherty was motioning the left field, your first thought is, oh, you're having your left fielder come in to pitch, but you keep having to remember your best relief pitcher on the field is a middle infielder. First team all conference at second base, first team all conference as a reliever, and with 12 saves on the year, right up there in the race for the national statistical title in that category.
Now we'll see what Dexter can do here as Brown steps to the plate.
The catcher, number 21, Alex Brown.
One change we did not see who is playing left field, so we're going to check on that. But Dexter is in the game, and we'll see if he could shut down Oswego. A bunt attempt here on the sacrifice. Brown dribbles it foul.
New left fielder for the Southern Maine Huskies was the prior DH, number 18, Dylan Hapworth. So he moves out to left field. Dexter will continue batting for himself, and the Huskies will lose their DH.
We should have probably suspected that because that is what happened on day one.
Yeah, they made this same triple position switch against the Spartans in that rain-delayed game.
There goes Whalen. The throw to second is not in time as he slides in ahead of the throw. The throw was a little high, and Olzak tried to pull it down, but sliding in safely is Whalen. Now the sacrifice, of course, would be off because Brown can swing away. Now the question, and it looks like was there interference here, and that is what head coach Scott Landers is arguing, that there was interference.
I think he's arguing the strike call. I think the home plate umpire ruled that Brown offered at the pitch on the bunt. Landers is saying that Brown pulled back, and the ball should have been called a ball. Although I'm not sure exactly what he's arguing about.
I thought it looked like to me that there was contact there between the catcher and the batter. Wow, interesting conversation going on here.
Well, they're sending the runner back to first base. Whalen is being sent back to first.
So there was indeed interference.
I didn't see Sims make that call. Must have made the call, and that's what prompted Landers to come out of the dugout.
So the stolen base is off, and it is batter's interference.
So is Brown called out on the play?
I believe that's what it is. Wow. Yeah, I thought there was some interference. I saw a little bit of what I thought was some contact. But it's honestly one of those plays that could go either way. Very interesting.
Oh, definitely up unrest in the stands from fans from both sides as the action has come to a screeching halt here at Onondaga as Flaherty comes out for a mound meeting once again.
So officially Brown is out on batter's interference. And the Oswego faithful obviously distraught. I can say with certainty it's the first time I've ever seen a batter's interference in a postseason game, ever.
This is the first time I've seen a call made live. I've only ever seen the call made once, and that was on television.
We'll see how that changes the outcome of this game. So Brown, batter's interference. The argument from Coach Landers unsuccessful. The home plate umpire, Justin Sims, holding his ground on that call from himself and his crew. So now Randall will step to the dish against Dexter. And that is ball one. So Randall hitting .302, the top of the order. He has struck out twice in this contest.
Oh, Whalen still has a pretty large lead over at first base. He's taking off again.
This could be two. Second base for one. On to first. Double play. Dexter coaxes a 1-4-3 double play. And the inning comes to a close.
Well, that's one of the benefits of having a middle infielder as your pitcher there, is he made a great turn to second base.
That pivot was tremendous. And the Lakers, after threatening to start this frame, suddenly the inning is over just like that, and we will head to the eighth inning. A batter's interference and a ground ball double play. So we are knotted at 3. We head to the eighth. This is becoming an emotional game now. The fans for Oswego are on their feet. There was a lot of chatter going on after that last call. We'll discuss the final 2 innings when we come back. We're still talking about that turn on the mound there by Dexter, the second baseman turned pitcher. Dexter has 12 saves on the year, a 4-1 record. We'll see how long he can go in what is a 3-3 game, but now his team at the plate in the top of the 8th inning, and it'll be Richard leading off, the catcher who was interfered with on that throw to second base.
It becomes such an impactful call after the double play there. Obviously, if Whalen had stolen second base successfully, would have never been doubled up there on the ground out to the pitcher.
And that ground ball up the middle, that's a leadoff single here for the catcher, Richard. And Southern Maine again continuing to single. They make contact, they put the ball in useful spots, and they get on base in droves. And again, we talked about their average on the year was approaching 330 as a team, which is just obscenely high. But right now they've left 7 on base. Hilliard coming up. Can Southern Maine find a way to break through? They have the momentum in this game now after that batter's interference and the ground ball double play. So Hilliard, the first baseman, dropping down a sacrifice attempt. They look to second, but they go to first, and the sacrifice is effective.
Great job there by Hilliard on the sac bunt to lay it down in fair territory, forcing the Lakers to make a play on him at first base, allowing Richard, who led off with that single, to make it to second. And now he represents the go-ahead run in scoring position, less than 2 outs.
So McDonough now playing second base. That was a 5-4 sacrifice.
These fans, they are relentless.
McDonough hitting .273, 2 singles in this contest along with a strikeout. And that's a fastball in the outside corner. This is the 9th appearance of the year for Guarino, but safe to say this by far the most emotionally charged. No balls, 1 strike in the Durf. If you just tuned in, we've renamed the area in the batter's circle. It's not dirt like you would see on a grass field, and it's turf, so that area is now known for the rest of this tournament as Durf. 1 ball, 1 strike. At the knees for a called strike, 1-2.
Well, Guarino used the strikeout extremely effectively to get out of last inning. We'll see if he can do the same to get out of this jam.
Now, if you can hear the crowd noise, it is definitely an emotionally charged game, as we were talking about with the teams on the field, but also with these fans. You know, the Southern Maine fans have come a long way. Oswego's nearby, and they have really come out in huge numbers today to support the Lakers squad.
It looks like our tournament manager, Dan Drutz, down in the concourse on crowd control. I'd hate to have to see him have to throw somebody out of here, but he may have to provide the muscle here for us.
He is the muscle behind this operation. Tom DiCamillo is certainly the brains of this operation. The commissioner of the SUNYAC has done such a great job getting this tournament prepared and organizing a really all-star crew.
Well, if Tom's the brains and Dan is the muscle, Ira, you and I must be the looks.
Yes, let's go with that. 1 ball, 2 strike. And that is low, blocked behind the plate there by Brown. And listen, at my age, I'm just happy I still have a couple looks.
Hey, man, you're doing good. You got all your teeth, got all your hair. It's good times.
The hair is the part I'm the most happy about. I could always get a new tooth.
That's true. That's true.
Hard to get new hair. The 2-2 popped in the air, foul. It's going to be out of play.
Depends on who you ask. I know a guy holds a pretty high office, knows a lot about wigs.
I played hockey a little bit as a kid, and my mom was always afraid I was going to have lose a tooth playing hockey, which is what happens. It was soccer where I had a tooth chipped, not hockey.
Yeah, my worst dental experience came on a basketball floor.
That's inside. Did it hit? Oh, my gosh. I thought it hit him. Instead, a called strike 3 on the inside corner, and McDonough was hot after that call. I thought for a second that might have grazed his leg as he was standing really close to the plate. That was an inside pitch, and they rang him up for strike 3.
Well, that's Guarino's 3rd strikeout since coming in relief, and that's really how he's retired his hitters, working the zone and getting the calls, and now he's facing the opposing pitcher, Jake Dexter.
That was the first strikeout looking. Dexter, .359 average. Just a tremendous two-way play here. That also blocked there by Brown. In the dirt in front of the plate. But now 2 outs with Richard at second base. Still a 3-3 game in the winner versus winner contest, game 7 of this regional. And people are getting their money's worth. That's high.
Oh, you can really feel the emotions coming from both dugouts, the fans. Everybody in here is just, the stakes are so high. Everybody's just charged and ready to roll. It makes for a great baseball game.
I'm loving every second of this, Brett. I have no fan interest in either team here. Just loving good college baseball. And that is what we are getting here today on a beautiful day in Syracuse. Three-ball count here to Dexter. And that's fouled back towards the screen.
Well, Dexter had the green light there, hacking on 3-0. He got a fastball down the middle, just missed it. If he had straightened that out, that could have been an RBI single, a go-ahead run coming in for the Huskies.
How often does a batter have that kind of a green light on 3-0? That's the respect as a sophomore he already has. That is just high for ball 4.
Oh, Dexter was looking back at the umpire to make sure. He says, hey, ball 4, right? Takes his walk down to first base.
He took a slow jog down to first.
The center fielder, number 2, Devin
And right now, Richard Dexter on base. Can Warren, the number 9 hitter, be the one to come through here? 3-3 game in the top of the 8th inning. This is a classic winner versus winner game in the NCAA Regional. That is off the plate.
Couldn't be any more fitting to have the 1 and 2 seeds play such a tight game here, as all the other games have been so tight as well.
Time is asked for by Coach Landers. He's going to have a quick conversation with Guarino on how to approach Warren here. And, you have to respect every hitter in this Southern Maine lineup.
Well,
because with a team batting average at .328, there is no one who is an easy out.
Yeah, Warren, he's 1 for 3 today with an infield single. He's the same guy who ripped a double against Ithaca yesterday, who brought home, TCNJ yesterday. It was kind of the big hit of the 7-run inning. Brought in a couple runs, and so he's capable of going gap to gap here.
That's fouled off to our right.
So definitely a dangerous hitter, and even though he's in the 9-hole, Guarino's got to be wary. Make sure he doesn't make any mistakes.
Coach Flaherty told me before this tournament he has enjoyed coaching this team tremendously. It's a younger group. It's one where there's been a lot of learning moments. But he says the makeup, the chemistry of this team is really, really good. That is fouled up the first base line. And that is strike 2, so Guarino is a strike away from getting out of this inning.
Well, I like Warren's approach at the plate. That ball was over the outside corner. He's just trying to punch that in the right field. There's a large hole as the second baseman, Kolar, is holding Richard at second base. Large hole on the right side. He's looking to shoot it through there.
Again, a foul back towards us, 1 and 2. Coach Flaherty said that this team makes him laugh more than many teams he's had in the past, but they come to play every day. He has really little that he needs to say to fire them up, and he hopes that, especially with the younger players, that they keep this edge that they have for the next 2 to 3 years. And if that happens, Southern Maine's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this tournament for the next few years. And that is floated over the head of the second baseman into right center. Richer around third. He will score the go-ahead run Dexter to third, and it is an RBI two-out single for Warren. And the Huskies now lead Oswego by a score of 4-3.
Well, great clutch hitting by Warren. Just works that one off the inside corner over the second baseman's head. Kind of a similar hit to what we saw Barnes do yesterday against Tufts, the Oswego right fielder who scored the go-ahead run for the Lakers there. Very similar plate approach, very similar at-bat.
A two-strike, two-out, go-ahead single. Timely hitting, that is the 10th for the Huskies. And the second seed now in front of the top seed.
Well, Flaherty coming out and relaying a message to his third base coach. First and third here for the Huskies, 2 down. The message being relayed to the runner on third.
Wouldn't it be faster to text it to him?
I'm surprised that none of these teams in the baseball regional have any of those barcode wristbands where the coaches yell out numbers and they check their wristbands every play. I'm pretty grateful for that. That seems to slow down the game to a molasses-like halt. Because you'll have the coaches from the bench yell 7, 4, 1, and then all the players will get in on their wristbands and look for code number 741 and try to decipher the play. And 9 times out of 10, there is no play. They're just yelling numbers.
Complete gamesmanship.
So glad to see that none of these teams, most of these teams with old school coaches, none of them are doing that.
That's low. I wonder if they're just yelling out phone numbers.
Well, on the first play, you hear them yell 867, and then the next one they yell 5309. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, now we could sing. 867.
Oh, no. You're not going to. I see what you're trying to do. It's not going to work.
I try to get you to play.
Nope. No singing on the mic. I don't want to break our equipment.
Now we do have 2 more games to go, and at least one tomorrow. The winner of this game will play in the championship tomorrow in our first game. And there'll be an if-necessary game after that, if necessary. The 1-1. And that's fouled off to our right.
Explain to me this if-necessary concept, this if-necessary game that they play if it's necessary.
Well, the way this works is it's listed in the schedule as if necessary. So if the winning team of this game is not the winning team in the first game tomorrow, the if-necessary game then indeed becomes necessary.
Obviously, a double elimination tournament. You need to lose twice to be eliminated.
This is like a Captain Obvious commercial. That's hit
You're
in the air,
welcome.
down the right field line, foul territory. Leaning over and making the catch on the run was John Barnes to end the inning. Very patiently tracking that ball, and he reached his left arm out with the glove to brace the impact with the fence after he made the catch. So a foul out down the right field line for Quintal, the top of the order hitter. Warren and Dexter are both stranded on base, but Warren comes through with a huge 2-out, 2-strike single, plating his catcher Richard, and Southern Maine, after 7 1/2 innings, leading Oswego 4-3.
The NCAA opposes all forms of legal and illegal sports wagering as it has the potential to undermine the integrity of sports contests and jeopardizes the welfare of student athletes and the intercollegiate athletics community. For more information, go to don'tbetonit.org. Fans take home a souvenir from today's championship. Visit the NCAA merchandise stands behind the grandstand for great championship gear and memorabilia. Leading off the 8th for the Lakers, the third baseman, number 3, Eric Hamilton.
We're back here in the 8th inning. Eric Hamilton, the 2-time SUNYAC Player of the Year, with his team trailing by a run, stepping to the plate. He finally got in the box score with a single in his last at-bat. That came in the 5th inning with a single through the left side. His average now at .395. This is chopped foul.
Yeah, finally broke the seal in his last at-bat, and now his team could really use a hit here. Let's see if he can start a rally. Team's best hitter this season and most seasons that he's been at Oswego, so could really use him here.
That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Great idea by Dexter
1 ball, 2
to have
strikes.
that breaking pitch down and away, trying to get Hamilton to chase. The veteran hitter lays off.
So 1-2. Off the end of the bat, into shallow right. The blooper falls in for Hamilton as he gets another hit to lead off the 8th inning.
And those are the kind of hits that when you're in a slump, don't fall in for you. But here, Hamilton finally breaks out of his slump, and now in back-to-back at-bats, he has singles. And this one to lead off the 8th with the Lakers trailing by 1.
I believe that's what they reference as a seeing eye single right there off the end of the bat. They're extending his arms. And Delicari, the DH, he singled and scored in the first on the 2-run shot by Barnes.
Yeah, I'm not sure Hamilton could have picked the ball up and thrown it and placed it any better. Fell right in between the second baseman and the right fielder. Neither of them really had a chance to make the play in the air. It's a great hit. Sometimes things just work out.
Oswego looking for a break after on the short side of one the last inning with the interference. That's a called strike.
Now,
1-1.
interesting play by Landers here to bunt his 4-batter. Delicari, or I'm sorry, his 3-stick. Delicari, a leading slugger for this Lakers team, but if the situation calls for it, they're asking him to square around. Let's see if he can execute.
You also have Barnes on deck, who has been as hot as anyone in this regional. Dexter deals. Line drive over the head of the leaping shortstop in the left center.
That was like a softball play, Ira. You have a left-handed hitter in the box. He squares around, pulls the infield in, pulls back the bat, and slaps it into left center.
Olzak leapt off the turf, and he just couldn't reach it. And now nobody out. Delicari at first, Hamilton at second, and Barnes, who's already drilled a 2-run homer today, stepping to the plate.
Now here's the situation. You have runners on first and second, no out. One of the hottest hitters in the regional, as you were saying. Do you think Barnes squares around to bunt?
I highly doubt that. I also don't think he'll be singing anytime soon with you and I at Kitty Hoynes in Syracuse. Barnes, a 2-run homer in the first, a single in the third. He struck out swinging in the 6th. Well,
there he is, a little lay down there.
And Dexter slides. The throw to first is not in time. He bobbled the ball. Dexter stumbled coming off the mound on that bunt attempt by Barnes. He looked momentarily to third. There was no chance there. Went to first. I believe Hamilton's hurt as he dove into third base, but everybody now safe as Barnes flipped it over to Hilliard at first base, and it looked like Hilliard as...
Well, that was the second baseman covering.
Was it the second baseman? So
because Hilliard had charged on the bunt.
In that case, then it was McDonough, but McDonough had contact made with him by the sliding runner Barnes, and that forced the bobble. You're right.
Yeah,
it was
I'm
McDonough.
not sure if he ever caught that cleanly. It looked like the throw went into the runner as he slid into the bag. McDonough had to pick it up off the turf. And now you have the bases loaded, no outs for the Lakers. I told you he would bunt.
I thought you were joking.
No, not at all. I mean, first and second, no outs. You need a run. Yes, he's the hottest hitter in baseball, but you lay one down and you force the Huskies to make a play. You've already seen him make one error on a bunt today, so why not try it again?
I didn't think there was any chance in the world he was going to bunt there, not with the way he's delivered. And
one way or the other, we'll have to ask Coach Landers about that decision when we come up in the postgame.
Absolutely. That is going to be the inquiring minds moment of that interview. But first, we have business to do, and that is Oswego has the bases loaded for Kolar. Kolar's already homered in this tournament. That was on day one. Right now, the tying run is at third base, Delicari. He stands at second, representing the go-ahead run in the bottom of the eighth inning. Oswego is the home team in this neutral site game.
And we've talked about it all weekend, how incredibly competitive these games have been. This is just another example of an outstanding baseball game between two excellent teams.
Ground ball foul up the first base side.
Well, Southern Maine has the corner infielders pulled in, trying to cut down a run at the plate. The middle infielders are at double play depth, so with no outs here, I'm surprised that they're not pulled in to try to prevent the run from scoring, but instead they'll try to get 2 outs.
Kolar only 14 RBIs on the year. That's inside. He's become a permanent starter as of late. $18 games, 15 starts entering action today. Dexter, the 2-1 pitch. That's line drive into right center. That's a base hit. That will score. Hamilton with the tying run. Here comes Delicari. He'll score. And Oswego on a 2-run single by Kolar moves in front 5-4.
That's a great clutch piece of hitting by Kolar. Takes an inside pitch on the inside half of the plate. Drives it out to right center over the second baseman's head. These Lakers are squaring up the ball, hitting line drives, and making great offense.
Now Barnes all the way down to third on that 2-run single by Kolar. Timely hitting, nobody out. And this is against the best reliever in the Little East, one of the best in the whole country.
The left fielder, number 24, Eli Holton.
That will bring up the left fielder, Holton, hitting .255. Holton has struck out twice. He's also been intentionally walked. Now 5-4 Oswego. They answer.
Here comes the safety squeeze. Now the runner from first takes off and gets a stolen base. The runner from third came about 1/3 down the line as Holton squared around.
Barnes was completely a decoy there, allowing Kolar to steal second. If he threw down to second base, Barnes may have come home. It was a gamble they did not want to take. Problem is now there's no force at second. So Holton now with 2 runners in scoring position. And that's fouled back to our right.
Oh, Holton took a big hack there after squaring on the first pitch. He's swinging for a sac fly here at the very least.
Southern Maine went up front with a run in the top of the 8th after a long 3-3 tie. It's now 5-4. That's in the air to left field, coming on and making the catch. Here's the throw by Hallworth to the plate. It is not in time, and he couldn't hold on to the ball anyway, and a sacrifice fly as Holton drives in the right fielder Barnes. It is now 6-4 as the Lakers have put up 3 runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And you can hear the applause from the Oswego fans.
I wasn't sure if that ball was going to be deep enough to score the runner from third as the Huskies appeal.
Hapworth made a strong throw, but the speed of Barnes on display there as he was able to beat the throw to the plate.
You have to wonder if McDonough's still out there. I think McDonough has a slightly better arm than Hapworth. Have to wonder if he would have been able to make that throw to the plate in time.
Bunt attempt here by Dinges. It is foul with Kolar still in scoring position.
Oh, what a rally here for the Lakers. 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Really coming up to bat, and they start the rally with a seeing eye single, as you called it, and Delicari and Barnes getting the job done, and then Kolar coming up with the huge hit, followed by a sacrifice fly by Holton.
Pitch to Dinges. It's called strike 2. Dexter had only given up 7 earned runs in 37 innings this year. 3 here in the bottom of the 8th, and that's a championship caliber inning here for the Lakers. Popped in the air, foul off to our left. It'll be out of play.
Good job by Gingis to fight off that fastball out on the outside corner. Just barely got enough to get it out of play. Stay alive at the at-bat.
Still just one out. Looking at second is Dexter. And time is granted here by the home plate umpire, Justin Sims. And no balls, 2 strikes, 6-4 Oswego here in the winner versus winner game. Swung on and missed strike 3. That's a big timely strikeout here by Dexter.
Well, that looked like a changeup that Dinges was out in front of.
The shortstop, number 1, Zach Whalen.
Great pitch by Dexter there to retire the second out.
33rd strikeout of the year versus just 6 walks. So Whalen weigh in as he has to step out of the way of that one.
Well, Kolar's getting a huge lead at second base. Nobody really there to check the runner. Wouldn't be surprised to see him try to take third, even with 2 outs.
Cut on and miss there. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Of course, if he does go, he better be sure to make it. I'm sure Landers would lay into him if he makes the third out and runs them out of this inning.
That's called strike as well, 1 and 2. Who do we see in the bottom of the 9th inning? Or in the top of the 9th, I should say. That is fouled up the third base side. Guarino has 3 saves on the year. He's gone an inning and 2/3 so far, giving up a run on 3 hits with 3 strikeouts. Does he remain in the game?
Well, he'll be in line for the win if he does remain in the game here.
That is punched foul.
As he entered in a tie 3-3 game. So
He actually was in line for the loss had Oswego not rallied here. And Dexter right now.
In true Hamburglar fashion, Guarino allows a run but then gets the run support to be in line for the win.
That's chopped foul. Dexter, should Southern Maine lose, he's 4-1 in the year. He's never on the short side of decisions like this, but Oswego in this meeting of national ranked teams has found a way to get to him. That's fouled back to the screen. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dexter deals. Again, a foul ball. Good battle here between Dexter and Whalen. You're watching Game 7 of the New York Regional here in Syracuse at Onondaga Community College. Ground ball up the middle, slow roller. The throw is in time in front of the diving Whalen. The throw by the shortstop Olzak is in time, and Southern Maine able to avert any further damage on the 6-3 ground out, but not before Oswego State with a 3-run, 4-hit 8th inning. Moves in front 6-4. And the Lakers come out here defensively in the top of the 9th inning. And Will B. Guarino handed the ball to try to win this game for the Lakers. We'll be right back.
The third baseman, number 17, Matt Bender.
Top of the ninth inning, and it will be John Michael Guarino to face Bender. Southern Maine has 3 outs to make up a 2-run deficit. And the first pitch swung on and missed. Guarino so far 1 2/3 innings in relief of Kavanaugh. He's allowed a run on 3 hits with 3 strikeouts and a walk. That's fouled off to our right.
Well, if you watch Guarino during his delivery, he seems to be fiddling with his grip on the ball until very late. If you watch the webbing of his glove, it moves around until he's just about ready to deliver the pitch.
The 0-2. That's floated towards right field. Coming on is Barnes. He makes the catch. And that is the first out in Oswego. Now 2 outs away from moving into tomorrow's championship game.
The shortstop, number 16, Drew Olzek.
The Lakers are having a regional to remember. They entered the tournament just 7-12 all time in the NCAAs. This is their 9th NCAA appearance. Now 9-12 with 2 wins, looking to get their 10th. And if they do win today, would match their most wins ever in one season in the NCAAs. They were 3-2 last year before they were ousted by Tufts. 35-11 a year ago, 3-2 in the NCAAs. They would be 3-0. They would have to be beaten twice tomorrow. Otherwise, they would go to Wisconsin.
And that's a tall order for any team to beat this top-seeded Lakers team twice out of 2 games. They're playing well. They're hitting well. You know, they have their best bat finally starting to heat up in Eric Hamilton.
Swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
They're going to be tough to beat if they do make it to tomorrow undefeated.
TC&J watching the game from that side, the Oswego side. That's a fly ball to right field on the run. Barnes, he makes the catch. That's out number 2. I mentioned TC&J because they play in our next game against Ithaca, an elimination game. The loser of this game will face the winner of that game tonight at 6. And now 2 away. And as Olzak flies out, Hapworth, the left fielder, the last chance for the Huskies.
We had Barnes yesterday.
That is ball 1.
Yeah, why don't we do Guarino and Landers? Yeah, we'll do Guarino and Landers.
Pop towards the dugout, out of play. Off the plate. Two and 1. That's high. 3-1. Hapworth is trying to extend the inning. If he's able to get on, it'll be the catcher, Richard. Called strike. And Southern Maine, they're down to their final strike here in the top of the 9th. Guarino trying to finish it out. The 3-2 in the air to deep right center field. That's carrying. Reaching out as Barnes over his head. Bounces up against the wall. Hapworth racing around second. On his way to third. And he will be there with a stand-up triple with 2 outs.
Well, timely hit by Hapworth. We'll see if it means anything here as Richard comes to the plate. His run is relatively insignificant, so really Richard's the one that's important. He becomes the tying run.
Hapworth, his 4th triple, 26th extra base hit of the year. And there'll be a conversation here with Guarino. I don't know if there'll be a change, but this is obviously a situation you do want to go over your options. Richard comes up representing the tying run. There are 2 outs. There's been a lot of timely two-out hitting in this game and this whole tournament. Richard hitting .306, the number 5 hitter in the lineup, has 2 runs scored, 1 single in this contest.
Well, if the Lakers do decide to make a change, it looks like they have number 2, Tim Cronin, down in the bullpen.
So it'll be the catcher, Richard. He has 1 homer on the year, 20 RBIs. That is a called strike. Hapworth standing at third with the 2-out triple, but as Brett said, that run is relatively meaningless if Southern Maine cannot extend this inning. That's high.
And Richard 1 for 3 today with a walk. He singled to center field in the 8th.
And that's fouled off to our left, and once again, Southern Maine is down to their final strike. You hear the applause from the Oswego fans. Is the 3-run 8th inning enough for this Lakers squad? Richard facing a 1-2 pitch, and that's lined foul towards the Oswego dugout. What a spot here for Richard. If the Huskies lose, they have to play yet again tonight. The 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Oswego sprints out of the dugout. They are heading to the championship game of the New York Regional tomorrow morning. They'll face either Southern Maine, TCNJ, or Ithaca. That is to be determined the rest of today, but Oswego State, the number 1 team, basically the home team in this regional, so close to their own campus, and so much support today, and they make their fans proud. A 3-run bottom of the 8th inning as they rally from a 4-3 deficit to knock off Southern Maine 6-4 in the 1-2 matchup, the winner's bracket game here in New York.
Well, Zach Kolar is the one who plays hero today. He went 2 for 4, including that 2-run single in the 8th that made up the difference for the Lakers today. With this 6-4 victory, Kolar drives in the game-winning runs.
Now Southern Maine, their task just got more difficult. They're 32-12 on the year. They'll see whether they play Ithaca or TCNJ tonight. We will have 2 teams remaining when this day is over. We know Oswego State will be one of them. Now 3-0 in the regional, 31-8 on the year, their 8th consecutive victory. It's going to be very challenging for any of the surviving teams to try to beat this Oswego State club as they gather in left field to talk about this outcome, which goes in their favor, 6-4. Each team with 11 hits and 1 error. For the Lakers, really 2 innings. A 2-run first inning and then a 3-run 8th to rally and win. We take a look at the final stats here for the Lakers. First of all, the winning pitcher in relief, 2.1 innings for Guarino. Allowed just 1 run, 4 hits, struck out 3, walked 1 through 51 pitches. That is his 2nd win of the year. 2-1 overall. What a timely pitching performance for that relief pitcher for this Lakers squad. Coming in for Kavanaugh. Meanwhile, statistically, has 11 hits for each team, but Oswego had the 2-run homer for Barnes. He was 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Kolar, the big 2-run single that's the difference in this game, Brett. He was 2 for 4. Also with 2 hits was Hamilton. That's big for the Lakers moving forward as he was able to break out of his slump. 2 for 4 with a run scored. And Delicari, 2 for 4 with a pair of runs scored as well.
Yeah, if you look at the 2 through 5 bats for the Lakers, they amass 9 hits. So it's a lot of damage done by the heart of their order. And that's really what they needed today. They kind of have been slumping recently, other than Barnes. Barnes has been on fire all regional long. But really in the 2 games prior, the other 3 batters had not been producing near as much. So to see Hamilton and Delicari and Barnes and Kolar all come up big in this game, it's exactly what the Lakers needed to build momentum going into tomorrow's championship round.
Well, Oswego State defeats Southern Maine by a score of 6-4. They improved to 3-0, and the 7th-ranked team in the country, the number 1 team in this regional, will be playing tomorrow for the championship of the New York Regional. We have our next game at approximately 2:15. Well, that game will actually take place a little later now because of the time of this contest. TCNJ and Ithaca will look to survive for tonight's game, but we know for sure it'll be Oswego State playing tomorrow for the regional title. On behalf of the State University of New York Athletic Conference, Commissioner Tom DiCamillo and his entire staff, and for my partner Brett Ford, I'm Ira Thor. Thanks for watching this broadcast, Game 7 of the NCAA New York Regional. Game 8 coming up next. It'll be TCNJ and Ithaca, 2 more storied programs looking to keep their postseason dreams alive. Be well, everybody. Ira Thornton here in Syracuse with the Southern Maine Huskies after a heartbreaking 6-4 loss to the top-seeded Lakers of Oswego in the winner's bracket game. First game of 3 here on day 3 of the NCAA Regional. We're here with head coach Ed Flaherty, along with second baseman pitcher Jake Dexter. Coach Flaherty, you guys still obviously live to see one more game today. This one is a tough one. Good matchup of two of the top teams in the country. What happened in the 8th inning?
Well, they had tough at-bats. You know, their two-hitter got Jake for a blooper with 2 strikes on him, and that started it for them. Then they ran a nice – their 3 hitters a good hitter, Delicari, and, you know, they went to bunt first time, then they pulled back and hit a line drive base hit, so that got things going. And this small ball game can disrupt you a little bit, and they've done it. They did it the first game of the tournament, came back at the 8th. So it's just the way the games works.
Did you expect Barnes, who had already homered earlier in the game, to bunt in that situation? It really was a tough play. Jake coming off the mound there, kind of looks like he slid a little bit on the turf, and it was a real tough play at first, and that was a big catalyst.
I didn't know whether he was going to bunt. That's why we didn't pull a trap. Because he's a 4 hitter, he swung the bat so well, but that's their game, and they did it well, and they laid down a good bunt in a good spot. It was a tough play to make, and that's the way the ball bounces and put us in a tough spot.
Jake, you've been so good in this tournament so far. Obviously, the save at the start of this field, and defensively been just a big player there at second base. Coming to this spot, your team is up now 5-4 or 4-3. You're working with the lead, taking on an Oswego club, sending its best players to bat. What's your strategy going in there, knowing that they've been in this spot before, they've won now 8 games in a row, and that they're going to be, looking to at least tie the game there, and fortunately for them, we're able to actually take the lead?
Yeah, nothing really changed. Just did what I always normally do, and throw strikes and make them hit it, and they put a couple barrels on the ball and got 3 runs out of me, so it's tough, but we'll get them next time.
Well, it's baseball, and obviously you live to play another game in this double elimination tournament. You'll be sitting watching this next game, TCNJ and Ithaca. From what you guys saw in this game, what do you need to do in this elimination game now later tonight to be able to rematch with Oswego tomorrow?
We just need to play hard, keep our heads up, play our game, throw strikes, field the ball.
Coach, that is the beautiful thing about this format, is that if you put yourself in a winner's bracket game, which is what you did with the 2 wins to start the tournament, you will play another game tonight. You win that, you can play twice tomorrow and still get to the World Series. So what message do you send to your club as you wait the next 3 hours to see who your opponent will be?
I told them we won 6 doubleheaders in the Little East, which are tough matchups. Not any other team did that. I think we split one. So I'm not concerned. We've got good pitching left. Tommy Fortier hasn't stepped on the mound yet. Gage Feeney. Rice has got to be ready to go tomorrow. And I'm sure Corielli, we've conserved him a little bit. And we get to tomorrow, this guy might end up on a pig pile at the end of the second game tomorrow.
And obviously, if we see him out there on the mound again, a formidable opponent, a pitcher you don't want to see. For yourself, after you went through this experience now, what is your mindset going into this championship game tonight? Obviously, you're going to be at second base and have a chance to contribute at the bat. But what's your mindset going in, knowing that you guys still are capable of winning this whole tournament?
Yeah, my mindset's just to win a game. Just to win.
That is a baseball answer right there. Southern Maine will play again tonight against either TCNJ or Ithaca. And if they win that, they will be around tomorrow in the championship of the New York Regional. We thank the Southern Maine Huskies.
Back here at the New York Regional with the Oswego State Lakers as they move into tomorrow's championship game with a come-from-behind win over Southern Maine by a score of 6-4. We're here with head coach Scott Landers. Also have Zach Kolar, who had the big 2-run single that put the Lakers in front, and our winning pitcher today, John Michael Guarino, 2 2/3 innings, struck out 4, allowed just 1 run on 4 hits. Coach Landers, your team now twice in this tournament has come from behind in late innings. Obviously, the walk-off win against Ithaca, and now 2 runs here in the 8th inning. What's the level of excitement around this team knowing that you have a chance now tomorrow to get to the World Series?
I mean, I think it's huge, and that was our goal since the beginning of the year, is win a national championship, and it starts here at OCC, and we're 1 win away from that. And they know how important it is, and we've had 3 wins, and as soon as we go back and put a smile on our faces and relax a little bit, we got to get back to business tomorrow. But it feels good. 2 comeback wins. We've done it multiple times in the last couple weeks, and they know we have enough talent and will to whatever is facing us, whatever adversity, to come back. And you got to play 9 innings, and that's why we play all 9. And just happens to be we're on the winning end of these ones.
After the 2 singles, we were talking on the broadcast, what do we do with Barnes there? Barnes obviously had homered earlier in the game, and you had him bunt there, and he reached with the single. But what was the strategy there? I was, really wondering what was going to happen in that situation. And when he dropped down the bunt, I think some folks were surprised, but it ended up being a brilliant move.
Well, I mean, some say it was a brilliant move, but it was pretty obvious what we were going to do. Him and I just went over a plan, and whether it was the first pitch or the second pitch or the third pitch, so we had that plan, and he executed it. He had a great bunt and beat it to first base.
And then this young man came to the plate, and he had the 2-run go-ahead single that turned a 4-3 deficit into a 5-4 lead. And the second baseman, senior Zach Kolar, 2 for 4 in this game, 2 RBIs. Talk us through that at bat.
I was just trying to get the guy in, do whatever I could to get him home and tie the game up, and ended up getting a base hit and scoring 2 runs, and worked out pretty well.
How much emotion could you hear from the fans? You guys really had a great attendance today. You basically being as close to a home team as there is in this tournament, with your campus being nearby. The fans were into it. You could hear them throughout the stadium, obviously on some of the questionable calls in the game. You could feel them getting emotionally charged. But how much energy did that give you in that at-bat, in that big spot?
A lot. I think throughout the whole game they were up. Every time we were up to bat, they were supportive and stuff like that. And I think that really drove us to end up winning.
John, you came in place of Mitchell, who he threw relatively well, 6 1/3 innings, only gave up 2 earned runs, 7 hits. Then yourself, you had to go almost 3 innings to get this win. How much satisfaction do you have right now, not only your performance, but the way your team backed you up?
I have a lot of satisfaction. I ended up giving a run up in my second inning, and we came back in, and my guys picked me up. I'm just fortunate they could do that for me, and I'm happy I helped them out.
And same question I asked your second baseman. The crowd was so into it, and almost like a home game for you guys. And really out on the mound, really must have energized you.
It's great fans here, great team. Everyone's behind each other.
The crowd support, great for the Lakers. Coach, you guys are now playing for the championship tomorrow. Like you said, this has been the goal of the team all year, to get to the College World Series, and the ball is in your hands. You got to win 1 game. Whoever survives Ithaca, TCNJ, maybe Southern Maine again, would have to beat you guys twice, which would be an extremely tall task. So what's the message you send to your club now as you wait for around 24 hours to see who your opponent's going to be on the other side?
And we're gonna take a couple hours and relax and enjoy it, and then we're gonna go back to work. We haven't accomplished anything yet. We had 3 wins last year in a regional and didn't win it. So we have the luxury right now of getting a crack at 1 win out of 2 games, and I like my chances with this team. And I mean, we are. I've said it all along. We're senior oriented, and they're tough as nails, and we'll come out and prove it tomorrow.
Well, for the second time in this regional, the Lakers rally to win, this time over Southern Maine in a 1-2 matchup. Your final score is 6-4.